Fifth one, looks like Nigel Shad for Pacific, the Kansas State transfer. Have not seen UC Riverside come out yet, so we'll wait till Riverside comes out and then we'll give you their starting lineup. It is really eerie, I'm not going to lie. We have a mic courtside, and I'm going to do this for you. Well, this is something I meant to do at the start. We will pipe in some some crowd noise just to kind of make it feel a little bit like a live event for you. It's a live event, don't get me wrong, but we'll make it feel like there are folks here. Riverside coming out now, so let's get you their starting five. It is Arinze Chittum, their leading returning scorer from a year ago. Jock Perry, you might be familiar with him, a St. Mary's transfer. Zion Pullen, also Dominic Pickett, and Flynn Cameron, a transfer from DePaul. It's going to be Nigel Shad, and it's like Arinze Chittum to tip it up. It is up. It is controlled by UC Riverside. And Riverside moving from our left to our right from our vantage point. Our normal vantage point on the far right side of press row, and we're sitting across from the Tiger bench. They put the benches on the bleacher side of the Spano Center, so a different look and feel for us as well. As Riverside in the offense, driving in, kicking it out is going to be Zion Pullen, out for a three, which is good, and that is Dominic Pickett. Pickett, a 44% three-point shooter from a year ago, and UC Riverside strikes first, and now Pacific's first possession. Moving from our right to our left, Pierre Crockrell to Brock Finstoon on the right wing. Finstoon dribbling to his right, slings it out to Jeremiah Bailey, shot fake Bailey, chest pass left to Crockrell. Pierre dribbling to his right, crossing over, gives a bounce pass to Shad right of the lane. Shad on the lower right block's going to put it up with the left hand and get to Nigel Shad with a great play to get the Tigers started and on the board right away, and it is 3-2. By the way, if you're following the live stats, those are up right now. So our guy Chris Fortney got it taken care of. But the live stats are up if you want to follow along with us, just FYI. Riverside again off to our right. Riverside wearing a charcoal gray uniform. You've never seen them in these uniforms before. It has their logo. It's a new logo for them above the number on the front of the jersey, the number in gold. Tigers wearing the home white, specific written in black, outlined in orange across the chest, and a black numeral outlined in orange on the front and backs of the Pacific jerseys. A turnover created by the Tigers, and now Jeremiah Bailey straightaway three, swish. Jeremiah Bailey puts the Tigers in front. It is 5-3 Pacific, 18:25 and counting to go in the opening half. Our officials, by the way, today, Martin Kitchaki, Courtney Holmes, and Mike Reed, our officiating crew here at the Spano Center. Driving into the lane is Chittum, and Chittum tries to dish to Perry. He will. Perry's on the lower left block, goes up with his left hand, leaves it short. Then Nigel Shad pulls down the rebound. To Crockrell, up the center of the court he goes. Pierre fading to the near left sideline. Crockrell shovels to Jeremiah Bailey, corner pocket three near side, and that's well short for JB. And the rebound falls to Zion Pullen, a sophomore from Pleasant Hill. Pullen's going to take it into the front court, now to the baseline right. Sling a skip pass out to the left wing to Dominic Pickett. His three is short, and a whistle. Loose going to be on UC Riverside. Courtney Holmes is going to call foul, loose ball foul on Arinze Chittum. Chittum, by the way, in Oakland, Bishop O'Dowd High School, and he transferred into UC Riverside from Washington State. 17:46 to go in the first half. It's Pacific 5, UC Riverside 3. Crockrell, our right to our left, into the front court. Great freshman season where he was 4th in the country in assist to turnover ratio. Gives to Danis Jenkins, who forces a jump shot near the left elbow. Bottom of the backboard, but Jenkins somehow gets it back to Jeremiah Bailey, a shot fake Bailey from the right wing, and then he tries to drive it in. Flynn Cameron with his left forearm, and that'll be a charge called on Jeremiah Bailey. By the way, UC Riverside coached normally by Mike Magpayo. It was going to be his coaching debut today, but UC Riverside landed in Sacramento, and Mike Magpayo got word that his wife's water broke, so he immediately turned around, hopped a flight back, and it's Mike Zeppel who is coaching UC. So Mike Zeppel is manning the sidelines. The head man for UC Riverside is driving in right of the lane as Arinze Chittum, and with the right hand he goes up and banks it off the glass and in. That ties it at 5 as we to go in the opening stanza. Finstoon hands to Crockrell in the high front court. Pierre dribbles to his left in the key. Bounce pass Finstoon driving on the baseline. Gives to Jenkins. A wide open right corner three is no good. Tipped by Shad to Finstoon, to Crockrell, back to Finstoon for three. That's short left wing, and Nigel Shad tries to tip it back up, but he can't get it to go. Great tip back attempt by Shad, just would not fall for him. Remains 5-5 as half and counting to go in the first half. As Jock Perry on the right take a wide open three, and that's too strong. They'll allow Jock Perry to take that shot all day long. As now Jenkins driving in, the other way, misses the lay-in, and the ball rims out, and it's controlled by UC Riverside. Pullen is on the left wing. Pullen crosses out over to his left. Pullen in the air, gives to Perry in the lane, and it's going to be a travel called on Jock Perry. Bit clunky there on the reception for Perry work, and they called a travel with 16:11 to go in the first half. Nigel, a good first couple of minutes as a Tiger will come out. And checking in, it will be Jordan Bell. Jordan Bell, you might be familiar with the name, a grad transfer from Loyola Marymount. Spent the last 2 years as a member of the Lions, and now for his graduate season, a member of the Pacific Tigers after LMU let Mike Dunlap go after last year. Danis off a screen, dribbles to his left, weaves to the free throw line, takes a force two and knocks it down. Danis Jenkins puts the Tigers in front 7-5 Pacific. Pacific has opened 3 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. UC Riverside 2 of 5 from the floor and 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. As a loose ball is going to be tipped into the backcourt off a deflection gathered back in by Dominic Pickett. It was deflected by Jenkins, so no backcourt violation. Driving left of the lane now is Chittum, spins out, gives to Pullen on the right wing. Pullen drives it in, then gives it out to Perry. Pullen back out on the right. Tested three and knocks it down over Crockwell. Zion Pullen, 29% last season from beyond the arc. He's in his sophomore year now with Riverside, and it is 7-7. They're going to call that a 2, by the way. Now, shot by Jenkins, short range from about 12 feet, will not go from the right side, and rebound taken by Riverside. UCR moving from our left to our right. We're about to take under 15 minutes. We'll have a stop at the next dead ball as spinning right of the lane, passing it out is Flynn Cameron. Cameron tried to pass it out to the far side. The ball ends up being backcourt, and it was last touched by UC Riverside. Wouldn't have mattered because it would have been a backcourt violation anyways. But it will be Pacific ball off to our left when we come back after a timeout on the floor here at the Spano Center. This timeout comes with 14:53 to go in the first half. It's good to be back. Pacific 7, UC Riverside 7 on Fox Sports 880.
I've always wanted to come here since I was little. I remember I would pass by here when I was younger. We would come and take pictures or come for tours when I was like in middle school. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I was just in shock by the buildings themselves and the history of UOP and the people within it. It was just a beautiful place that I dreamt of. I thought maybe one day if I work really, really hard and I'm truly good at what I do, I might be able to get in, and I'm here and I love it. Hi, my name is Lila Valencia and I'm a fine arts major here at UOP, and this is my art studio.
We, the student athletes,
Great to be back inside the Alex G. Spano Center. Zach Bayruti, glad to have you with us. Fox Sports AM 1280, your home for Pacific Hoops all season long. 7-7 as the Tigers inbound underneath their own goal. Danis Jenkins is going to feed it to Justin Moore. Short jumper on baseline left is no good, but the offensive rebound falls to Finstoon. And Jordan Bell, credit him, he got his active hands in there to knock that ball loose. 7-7 the scores. Moore with the reset has 10 seconds on the shot clock. Weaving in, gives it out to Jordan Bell for three. It is no good, but a foul is going to be called underneath the bucket. And it's going to stay with the Tigers. A loose ball foul called on UC Riverside. And that's going to be the second personal foul on Arinze Chittum. That is the second team foul for Riverside. Again, both on Chittum. And it looks like Chittum's going to have to come out, and Jock Perry, who had to arrest, will have to come back in. As I mentioned, Justin Moore, beg your pardon, has just come in for Pacific after the He's out there with Jordan Bell, Brock Finstoon, Danis Jenkins, and Jeremiah Bailey. Inbound to Bell on the left wing. Chest pass up top to Bailey. Swing it right wing to Jenkins. Danis dribbling to his right. Slings it up to Bailey. Straightaway three. Got it. Jeremiah Bailey puts the Tigers up 10-7. And the Tigers are now 2 of 6 from beyond the arc, and both made threes have been out of the hand of Jeremiah Bailey. As Riverside trying to swing it around to the far side, and an errant pass and a turnover in the high front court. Finstoon's all by himself, and he lays it off the window and in. Fast break opportunity converted by pulls ahead 12-7 with 13:57 and counting to go in the first half. Our left to our right go the Highlanders. On the floor for UC Riverside, Angus McWilliam now from Christchurch, New Zealand, and a TCU transfer. He's going to drive along baseline left, try and feed it in the lane to Perry. It's knocked away, stolen by the Tigers. Moore is going to see the defense catch up a little bit, so he'll slow it down. Give to Jenkins. Jenkins lay it up to the window, no good, but a foul is going to keep the ball on that end of the floor. A non-shooting foul, says Mike. Foul is going to be on Zion Pullen. Looks like Jabril Price-Noel will check in for Pacific, and Brock Finstoon will check out. Great push from the starting 5, and some of the Tigers now on the floor. Not part of that starting 5, but it's been good energy for Pacific here at the start of the contest. As a shot by Jenkins, baseline right, is not going to go in. The rebound taken by Riverside. And Riverside now in the front court as McWilliam gives it up top to Pickett. Pickett dribbling to his left, up top to Jock Perry. Perry thought about a 3, pulls it back. He's already 0 for 1 from distance. They find Pullen on the right. Pullen driving baseline right, gives a skip pass out to the far corner. This is Will Tattersall for 3. That is no good. And the long rebound pops out to Jabril Price-Noel. Almost found Jock Perry, but Price-Noel able to get his mitts on it first as Jabril. Front court gives up top to Jordan Bell. Bell fakes a pass right, now dribbles left. Bell thought about getting to Moore on a cut, instead keeps on the perimeter to Bailey. Bailey's going to go off the dribble to the goal, and it's no good, but he does get fouled. Jeremiah Bailey, a strong move to the bucket, and the foul is going to be on Zion Pullen. Pacific 12, UC Riverside 7. 12:53 to go in the first half. And we get our first free throws of the contest. As a broadcaster, this is a terrifying moment when there's nobody in the stands, because I feel like everybody can hear you on the floor. So Jeremiah Bailey's first free throw is up, and it is good. Talking to a couple of buddies of mine today, and they said that when I call the free throws, it's going to be like me calling the Masters or something, like calling a golf event. It's going to be very quiet here. Although this is off to our far left. When they're in front of us, it's really going to be time for me to keep it silent as Bailey's second free throw is up and good. I didn't get him that time, and JB knocks down a couple and gives Pacific a 14-7 lead. Bailey will check out, and Jonathan Salazar will make his debut in the orange and black. Salazar had a awful Achilles injury right when he got on campus last year after being signed out of St. John Bosco High School in Southern California, native of Panama. So Salazar is getting his first look on the floor for Pacific. We're excited to see that. As Riverside in the offense, Tattersall is going to get a handoff near the key. He's going to hand it back to Perry. Now goes back to Tattersall. Tattersall spins to his left, tries to drive. Good defense by Price-Noel, but Tattersall able to find a window and put it up and in. The 6'6" freshman from Melbourne, Australia, makes it 14-9. Pacific's lead cut to 5. Down the other end, the Tigers almost turned it over, but a loose ball gathered back in by Pacific. Justin Moore knifing through the defense. Moore's the free throw line, gives it to Jordan Bell. Bell from short range lobs it up toward the bucket. No good. The rebound is tipped up. Out of bounds it goes. And last touched by Pacific. 12:04 to go in the first half. Pacific 14, UC Riverside 9. Riverside moving from our left to our right, and again, it is Dominic Pickett, the redshirt senior from Moreno Valley, California, in the front court. Pickett drives right of the lane, shovels out to Perry, a straightaway 3. He's open, it's off the mark. Rebound taken by Jonathan Salazar. Well, coaches talk about Salazar's energy on the glass, and that was a big board right there, as Justin Moore is going to try and take it in, and at a tough angle, try and kiss it off the window. Can't get it to drop, but it looks like Moore drew the contact. Assuming it's a shooting foul, he'll get a pair of free throws. It is indeed, and the foul is on Flynn Cameron. And Pacific will have Justin Moore shooting free throws when we come back after this timeout on the floor from the Spanos Center. This timeout comes with 11:43 to go in the first half. Pacific 14, UC Riverside 9, and we are back after this on Fox Sports AM 1280. With us, Chris Fortney, the Director of Athletic Media Relations, off to my right, doing a fantastic job getting so much ready for this day. This is it's not an easy task. There's a lot of uncertainty, and there were a lot of variables, and everything was kind of crunched in last minute in terms of the players being able to be together, first of all, then get their headshots and get information, and Chris has done a great job with that. So we want to make sure we give a shout out to him and everybody in the athletic department and on campus. They have done a tremendous job of getting us to this point, and knock on wood, as far as Pacific men's basketball is concerned, not a positive COVID test. So we're grateful for that. First free throw for Justin Moore will drop through. Moore had it kiss off of the heel, and then the soft roll off the front of the rim and through. 11:43 to go in the first half. Pacific 15, UC Riverside 9. Second free throw for Moore is no good, but an immediate whistle, and there's going to be a loose ball foul called on Jonathan Salazar for a shove in the back. Damon Stoudemire in his 5th season as the head coach for Pacific. Stoudemire, the reigning WCC Coach of the Year. What a season for the Tigers last year. 23-10 overall, 11-5 in the West Coast Conference, their best finish since rejoining the WCC in 2013. Riverside in the offense, right corner for 3, and that is good. And that is Flynn Cameron, the junior from Auckland, New Zealand. Cameron, the DePaul transfer, can make those shots if he's open. And I know Luke Wicks in practice and in the scout yesterday, he made it a point to say, you cannot leave this guy open. We can get this guy. We can stifle him, but if you leave him open, he's going to beat you from that spot, and that's exactly what he did as Moore tries to answer back for the Tigers. He does. Justin Moore from just beyond the left elbow knocks down a 2, and it makes it a 5-point Pacific lead once again. Pacific 17, UC Riverside 12, ticking toward 10.5 minutes or so to go in this first half, as Tattersall is going to get into the corner, pass it to Angus McWilliam, back out to the left wing to Flynn Cameron. Cameron trying to drive in on Moore, left-handed floater, no. Loose ball batted out, controlled by Moore on the far right sideline. Moore head up into the front court. Moore staggers to his right. Moore, a little Euro step in the lane, and a nice little put-up right off of the glass, and I believe rolled on the rim as well and dropped through. Moore kind of a reverse layup. Awkward looking, but he will take it, and it's 19-12 Pacific. McWilliam was driving in from the right. He ran into a Tiger. I'm not sure who absorbed that charge. They tried to get it into the far corner. I believe Flynn Cameron was in that far corner, and I'm not sure, again, which Tiger. Do you know who took the charge, Chris? I don't know who absorbed that for Pacific, but whoever did a great job. If you're watching on the monitor, maybe you could have seen it better than I did if you have that angle. I did not have a good angle there. So it remains 19-12 Pacific, and now we're under 10 minutes to go in the first half. As Moore on the near side in the high front court. Moore being guarded at a distance by Tattersall. Moore has got a knife to his right, little head fake. Moore goes down right of the lane, flings it out to Bell. Bell, a straightaway 3. The lefty shoots, and it's off the mark, wide left. And a rebound taken by Riverside. Our left to our right, Dominic Pickett in the front court. Pickett up top to Cameron. Cameron passing to his left, and further left it goes now to Tattersall, driving baseline left, trying to go up strong. Ended up getting the ball knocked out of his hand. The ball somehow went through the cylinder, and you count the bucket, and the foul is going to be on Jonathan Salazar. Tattersall driving baseline left, and I don't know what happened there that allowed that ball to go in, if it was just luck. But Tattersall looked like he had that ball jarred loose on contact. Went in anyways, so it's 19-14. The free throw is up and around the rim and through for Tattersall, the true freshman. So Tattersall making his UC Riverside debut. He has 3 points, his first 3 as a college player. It's 19-15 Pacific, 9:22 and counting to go in the first half. On the floor for Pacific now is Gervais Green. Our first look at the transfer from Nebraska. Passes to Salazar on the baseline. Salazar goes up. A wild shot won't go. Salazar had position, but maybe a little bit too much there in terms of the mechanics trying to get that ball up. Salazar could have done it nice and easy. Looked like he really made an effort that time, and maybe it cost him. Right wing, it's Tattersall. He'll take a 3, and that's going to be short. The rebound taken by Jock Perry. Perry's going to get it back out to Dominic Pickett, and Pickett will reset the offense for Riverside. Back to Tattersall. Zings it down low to Perry, and Perry blocked from behind by Salazar. What a block by Jonathan Salazar. And now the other way, Jabril Price-Noel is going to run into, it's like Flynn Cameron. It's going to be an offensive foul on Jabril trying to get out on the break. Salazar's 6'6", Jock Perry's 7'1", and Jonathan Salazar said, I don't think so. Even at a great height disadvantage. So with 8:43 to go, it goes back to Riverside. Pacific 19, Riverside 15. 8:43 and now counting to go in the first half. Flynn Cameron driving left of the lane. Cameron's going to shovel it down low to Perry, and Perry reverse lay and up and good. Perry was on the baseline under duress, still made it. 19-17, Pacific's lead has been trimmed to 2. Now Green's going to get it down low, and trying a reverse layup is Jeremiah Bailey, and Bailey's going to be fouled on his way up. And that foul is going to be on Quinton Ford, who had just checked in at the last dead ball for UC Riverside. So Bailey is at the line, and Bailey will shoot 2. JB's first free throws of the season. Free throw is up and no good for Bailey. So Bailey will have a second one coming. Also looks like Nigel Shad has gotten back out there for Pacific along with Pierre Crockrell, and again Gervais Green, the transfer from Nebraska. Bailey's second free throw is up and good. 20-17, Pacific by 3 with 8:22 to go in the first half. Our left to our right, it's Flynn Cameron. Cameron dribbling off a screen to his left. Cameron stops near the key, gives it out to Chittum, who's back in with 2 fouls. Chittum goes to the lower right block, puts it off the window, no, and the rebound taken by Jabril Price-Noel. JPN head up into the front court, right to our left, gives to Green on the left wing. Green off the dribble, drives, kicks it out to the far side to Crockrell. Zings it down low to Bailey, lower right block, backing his way in. Bailey up with the left hand and gets 2. Jeremiah Bailey has had a great half. He has 6 points. And if you're watching on the monitor, you can tell that JB has kind of remade his body a little bit this past offseason. Jeremiah, big into the cardio, he's slimmed down, and he really slithered through the trees down low for UC Riverside. That was a great move by Jeremiah Bailey. Riverside offense now. Driving is Quinton Ford, puts it off the glass and in. Looks like he got fouled as well. So a chance at a 3-point play for Riverside. Score the basket, the foul is going to be on Nigel Shad. And that will take us to a timeout on the floor here from the Spanos Center. This timeout comes with 7:33 to go in the first half. Our score from Stockton, Pacific 22, UC Riverside 19. And we're back after this on KWSX AM 1280. Back courtside at the Alex G. Spanos Center, Zach Beyruti, glad to have you with us. 7:33 to go in the first half. Pacific 22 and UC Riverside 19. There was an error on the live stats. So if you're viewing the live stats, you'll see that Jonathan Salazar is listed as being 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Salazar did not shoot free throws. The score is good on the stat tracker, but we're gonna get the incorrect information fixed here momentarily. So just FYI. And again, this is obviously this is a little bit different than what we normally do. So. Free throws for Riverside, actually one, and it's up and good as Quentin Ford, the redshirt freshman from Texas, completes a three-point play. It's 22-20. The Tiger lead is down to 2. As Pacific again moving from our right to our left, and now some backcourt pressure applied by UC Riverside as the Tigers break it with Crockrell up the far sideline. Tigers ping-ponging some passes back and forth, finally getting Crockrell some space across the timeline. Pierre dribbles to his right, now bounce pass to his left to Bailey. Bailey holds over his head, then gives to his left to Finstoon. Finstoon giving up top to Price Noel. Jabril is going to try and drive in. Jabril goes up with the right hand. No, the ball is loose, and it's going to be a foul, loose ball foul on Riverside. And it is Flynn Cameron. So this will be 1-1 here for Pacific, and Nigel Shad is going to get his first free throw attempt, and maybe plural as a Tiger. He'll have to make the first to take the second. Shad, a 6'9" redshirt junior, native of Mesa, Arizona, and he comes via Kansas State. A knee injury his freshman season caused Nigel to miss 22 games at K-State. He only played in 3 games last year for Kansas State. So Nigel, a fresh start here in the orange and black. His free throw is up and no good. Rimmed out. The rebound taken by Riverside. Pacific 22, Riverside 20. Chest pass to the left wing to Will Tattersall. Tattersall gives to Pickett. Pickett dribbling to his right and off an illegal screen. Foul is going to be they got to mean Angus McWilliam. They signaled 24, but Jalen Cross is not on the floor right now. Well, they say Pickett. I thought it was McWilliam.
It's almost one of those campuses where everybody kind of smiles at each other.
So it is McWilliam. They signaled incorrectly. The announcement was incorrect. A different player than the one that was signaled, and they finally got the right guy, Angus McWilliam, for the foul for Riverside. And McWilliam is now on the bench. As in is Oliver Hayes Brown for the first time, is driving, putting a shot up, no good. I believe it was Finstoon for the Tigers on the drive, and the rebound taken by Riverside. 22-20 Pacific, as up top it is Perry. Perry gonna dribble one time, then hand it off to Pickett. Pickett dribbles to his left. Pickett drives toward the baseline left. Pickett stops the dribble, pivots out, gives to Tattersall. Tattersall guarded at a distance by Finstoon. Tattersall starts to dribble to his left at a crouch, gives to Pickett. Up top to Hayes Brown, straightaway 3, and that is short. And the rebound taken initially by Nigel Shab, but there's going to be an over-the-back foul called on Jock Perry, I believe. See who we got. Jock Perry, the St. Mary's transfer. Nice position established there by Nigel. So Nigel right back to the line here, and this will be 2 free throws for Shad. Double bonus time for Pacific. Shad's free throw is up and no good. So Shad has missed both that he has attempted. Second one is up, and that is an air ball. There was a hitch there in Nigel's shot. So tough start from the stripe for Nigel Shad. 6:10 to go in the first half. It's Pacific 22, UC Riverside 20. Zach Beyruti, glad to be with you courtside in a relatively empty Alex G. Spanos Center. As dribbling to his right is Oliver Hayes Brown. He'll give it to Quentin Ford. Ford is going to try and drive across the lane. They're going to get him for a carry. So another turnover for UC Riverside. On the floor for the Tigers, it's Crockrell, Bailey, Shad, Finstoon, and Jenkins. For the Highlanders, it's Ford, Tattersall, Hayes, Brown, Pickett, and Perry. Our right to our left go the Tigers and the home whites, 22-20 Pacific by 2, 5:45 and counting to go in a low-scoring first half to this point, as Crockrell is going to dribble off a screen to his left. Pierre weaves to his right, gives to Bailey. Shot fake from the right wing. Now Bailey takes the three and makes it. Jeremiah Bailey feeling it from beyond the arc. 2 of 3 from outside. Bailey has a game-high 9 points, and it's 25-20 Pacific by 5. Pickett across the Pacific Power Cat logo into the front court, our left to our right. Gives to Perry on the perimeter. Perry is on the right wing, dribbles one time, stops the dribble, gives it back to Ford. Ford is going to dribble to his right, give it back to Perry up top. Perry is straightaway 3. Good contest by Shad. It's no good, and what a rebound by Brock Finstoon. Off balance, had Tattersall in his left hip pocket, and Brock Finstoon able to hang with that, pull it down. Now Crockrell dribbling to the right baseline. Crockrell underneath the hoop, shovels to Jenkins near corner. Jenkins drives, puts a floater up, no. Tipped by Shad, no. Loose ball gathered in by Jeremiah Bailey, and that's then knocked away out of bounds, and they say last touched by Bailey. I don't know if he had his foot on the line. That's about the worst angle for us to be able to see. But Bailey trying to juggle after he had the ball knocked loose. It'll go back to UC Riverside with 4:45 to go in the first half. It's like Arinze Chittum will check back in for Riverside, and Oliver Hayes Brown is going to have a seat for the Highlanders. Pickett in the front court gives to his right to Chittum. Chittum picked up 2 early fouls in this game. Chittum is going to hand it to Pickett. Pickett chest pass up top to Perry, gives it on the left wing. This is to Ford. Ford driving in, has the ball stripped, then runs into Bailey, and it's going to be an offensive foul, and Jeremiah Bailey taking the charge. So Quinton Ford I believe his second personal. Nope, that is his first, I beg your pardon. First personal on Ford, but again, the Tigers are in the double bonus. Pacific, by contrast, has only committed 5 team fouls this half. As up top, it's Bailey. Bailey chest pass to Jenkins, left wing. Danis dribbles to his right. Danis in the key, gives it out to Shad. Shad dribbles to the right wing, gives to Finstoon. Finstoon off a Shad screen, dribbles to his right. Brock penetrates. Brock is going to dish it in the lane to Shad, and he puts it up and in. Beautiful dribble penetration by Finstoon. Nigel Shad wide open in the lane, and Shad nice and easy does it, puts it up and in. And Shad's second field goal of the day. He's 2 for 3 from the floor, and is 27-20 Pacific with under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Ford up top, spinning to his right. Ford stops, tried to, and he traveled. Ford drug his foot. So that turnover will take us to another timeout on the floor here at the Spanos Center. This timeout with 3:44 to go in the first half. It is Pacific 27, beg your pardon. Pacific 27, UC Riverside 20. And we're back after this on Fox Sports AM 1280.
When you walk throughout campus, like it's almost one of those campuses where everybody kind of smiles at each other. It's just welcoming. Everybody's so welcoming. I feel like I'm coming home.
One of the big strengths of Pacific is the small class sizes. I feel like I know all of my professors and that they know me.
I hear stories all the time from people at the big brand name schools and how they wish that there was more personal interaction.
I really like the environment that I felt at Pacific from like the first day at the Stockton campus. I just really felt like the professors actually knew who I was.
It's family to me, and I can hardly wait to get up in the morning and get in my car and come over here and then see my friends, my colleagues, the students. They become family to me.
The students know that we care, that they matter in the classroom, and we know each of them by name.
We realize that our first responsibility is to our students, and we have always taken that responsibility very seriously. So our first responsibility is teaching, our second responsibility is scholarship. It's not the other way around here.
Zach Beyruti, glad to have you with us. We have 3:44 remaining in the first half. It's Pacific 27 and UC Riverside 20. Tigers are 10 of 25 from the floor, 40%. Riverside a tick better percentage-wise, 8 of 19. Riverside 2 of 9 from beyond the arc. Pacific is 3 of 8, and 2 of those 3 from outside, made by Jeremiah Bailey, who's out there with Crockrell, Jenkins, Shad, and Finstoon. Bailey shovels to Jenkins. Danis dribbles to his left. Jenkins crossing over. Nice move. Penetrates toward the left of the lane. Puts up a shot that's no good. Gets his own miss. Gives it out to Crockrell. Pierre drives into the lane. A floater with the right hand, and that clanks off the back iron. And a rebound taken by Riverside. Good board that time. Looks like it was George Wilborn III who's on the floor for the first time for the Highlanders. So Wilborn, the senior, transfer from UC San Antonio. Nice board that time. They find Jock Perry down low, and Perry in the lane, able to kiss it off the window and in. 27-22. Pacific's lead once again is 5. Crockrell dribbles to his right, bounces to Danis Jenkins. Danis back to Crockrell on the left wing. Pierre dribbles to his right. Crockrell stops at the top of the circle, gives to Finstoon off a curl. Finstoon turnaround jumper, knocks it down. Finstoon makes it 29-22 Pacific. 2:43 and counting to go in the first half. At halftime, we'll have all the numbers from the first half. And we'll also take a look around college basketball, some scores from around the West Coast Conference, and a look ahead at what's to come for the Tigers. We'll get really into the schedule and kind of the makeup of it at halftime, as Wilborn's going to drive in from the far side for Riverside, trying to go up, and they're going to say foul on Nigel Shad. Is it shooting? It is. Well, the good news for Pacific here is that Wilborn is a 41% free throw shooter. Wilborn, a Chicago, Illinois native, again transferred in from UT San Antonio. And free throws up and wide right. Jordan Bell back on the floor for Pacific, and Nigel Shad will check out. Shad with 2 personal fouls. Salazar has 2 personal fouls. So those are the Tigers that are in quote-unquote first half foul trouble. You have 2 in the first half. You don't want to pick up any going into the second half. As the second free throw, another bad miss for George Wilborn, the third. That was 2 misses wide right. And it goes out of bounds, last touched by Riverside. So the Tigers will take it over with 2:26 to go in the first half. And Pacific leading 29-22. Finstoon inbounds to Crockrell. Crockrell back to Finstoon as Riverside applies some backcourt pressure. Pierre's going to take it up the far right sideline and take it across the timeline. Pierre on the right side hands it to Jenkins. Danis using a little arm bar to get some space, gives to his left to Finstoon, and Finstoon got hit up in the face. And it was Will Tattersall who got him up in the face. And I think Tattersall was trying to make a move toward the ball, but he got Brock up in the face, and one of those ones you wonder if they'll take a look. It was really incidental. Tattersall is beside himself. It's going to be a common foul, which I like that. A lot of times you get some contact to the face, and they'll go to the monitor and see if there was anything there, but they were quick to discern that that was a common foul, as Finstoon's first free throw is no good. Second one for Brock is up, and that rims out and then back in. Rattled in off the center of the glass, off the rattle and through. 30-22 Pacific, leading by 8 with the 2:04 and counting to go in the first half. As Ford dribbling to his right, beg your pardon, it's a Pullen dribbling to his right, gives it out to Tattersall, straightaway 3, no, but it looks like he got fouled on the closeout by Jeremiah Bailey. So Tattersall is going to go to the line and shoot 3 free throws. Tattersall is 1 for 1 from the line. Of course, he's a true freshman from Melbourne, Australia. So his second career free throw is up, and it is good. Tattersall now with 4 points. Second one is up and good. Nice stroke from the lefty Tattersall. One of 9 players on this UC Riverside roster from either Australia or New Zealand. So kind of the St. Mary's of the Big West. The third free throw is good. So all 3 free throws converted by Will Tattersall, and with 1:56 to go in the first half, Pacific 30 and UC Riverside 25. Crockrell, a little hesitation move at midcourt, now takes into the front court, guarded at a distance by Tattersall. Crockrell hands it off to Finstoon. Finstoon, a bounce pass top of the circle to Jenkins. Danis facing the hoop, gives a bounce pass to Crockrell in the key. Give and go, back to Jenkins, baseline right, slings it out to Jordan Bell. A right wing three, got it. Jordan Bell from beyond the arc. And Bell's first points as a Pacific Tiger give Pacific an 8-point lead back. 33-25 with 1:24 and counting to go in half number one. Dribbling to his left is Pullen. Pullen gives it out to Tattersall. Straightaway three, and that's around the rim and out. Tip back, though, is good for George Wilborn. Wilborn came in and tipped that back home. So Tattersall's three missed, but they'll get the two from the tip back by Wilborn. 33-27 Pacific with 1:02 and counting to go in the first half. Finstoon gives to his right to Jenkins. Jenkins dribbling to his left, slips and falls, gets himself back up while maintaining the dribble. Jenkins driving in from the left wing, puts it off the glass and in, and Jenkins is going to the line. Foul's going to be on Wilborn. Great moves there by Danis Jenkins to keep the dribble alive. Jenkins now just 2 of 10 from the floor, if that is correct from the live stats. Jenkins with 4 points and a chance to complete a 3-point play. Free throw is up and good for Danis. 36-27 Pacific. It is going to be a timeout here called by UC Riverside. Sorry, it's going to be Pacific calling the 30-second timeout, so we will just keep it here. Again, coming up at half, we're going to go over all the stats and numbers from half number one. We'll take a look around the WCC. Big one today, Gonzaga and Kansas. I believe that game being played in Tampa. We'll go over the entire WCC slate. And also, again, kind of walk you through the non-conference schedule for the Tigers. Very regional, of course. Fresno State coming in here on Friday. That game, by the way, has been moved to 3 p.m., so they moved that game up so that Fresno State does not have to stay the night. They can get in and out. And then the Tigers' first road contest on Monday in Reno at Nevada. So that's kind of a short look ahead for Pacific, but we'll delve into really the nuts and bolts of the non-conference schedule at halftime, which is 50.6 seconds away, 50.6. 36-27 Pacific. From our left to our right, UC Riverside. We'll have Zion Pullen handling the ball. Pullen, the sophomore from Pleasant Hill, California, dribbles to his left off a Jock Perry screen. Up top to Tattersall. Tattersall gives on the right wing to Wilborn. Wilborn shimmies, dribbles to his right. Wilborn now back to his left, gives it up top to Pullen. Pullen with 31 seconds to go in the half, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Pullen's going to drive in, and shot blocked by Danis Jenkins. Danis came flying in out of nowhere, and the 6'3" sophomore got way up there to block that shot off the glass. And now the shot clock is off, and the Tigers will hold for what you figure would be the final shot of the first half as Crockrell bleeding the clock near center court. Pierre dribbles to his right. 8 seconds to go, 7. Pierre dribbles to his left, now weaves down low, through Perry, scoops it up and in. Crockrell gets it to go, and now a steal of the inbound, but the Tigers can't control. They almost stole that inbound, which was from Wilborn and intended for Pullen, and the Tigers nearly got themselves a bonus shot. But a great ending to the first half for Pacific. It started off as a very slow half in terms of points, but the last couple of minutes, some points were scored, and a lot of them by the Tigers, who go into the locker room leading 38-27. And also, just to kind of give you an idea what's going on here, when I say go into the locker room, they're not using their regular locker rooms. Neither team has the regular locker rooms, home or away. Pacific's quote-unquote locker room is the entrance over by sections E and G, and UC Riverside's locker room is in the concessions area by sections Q and R, and they have those curtained off. So again, just kind of adds to the strange feel here in 2020. You can see if you're watching the monitor where these locker rooms are located. It is a bit strange, but they'll go into their makeshift locker rooms with the score at half. Pacific 38, UC Riverside 27. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll go over some numbers from the first half and again get into some scores around the WCC and a look at the non-conference slate for the Tigers. That's coming up. Again, our scored intermission, Pacific 38, Riverside 27. And we're back after this on the Pacific Digital Network and Fox Sports AM 1280.
West Coast Conference promotes a diverse and inclusive environment
that ensures equality and respect for all.
We create champions.
We create champions for change.
The racial injustice in our world must end.
Must end.
Must end.
Racism and social injustice have no place in our society.
We have witnessed many great moments in our long history.
We have witnessed many senseless acts for far too long.
Equality and inclusion are core to who we are.
We will not stand for discrimination of any kind.
We are coaches.
We are students.
We are athletes.
We are all equal.
We unite in our support
for equal rights and equal opportunities for all.
We must be the change that we want to see.
Actions speak louder than words.
Our actions will be felt.
We create champions.
We create champions for change.
I remember I would pass by here when I was younger. We would come and take pictures or come for tours when I was like in middle school. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I was just in shock by the buildings themselves and the history of UOP and the people within it. It was just a beautiful place that I dreamt of. I thought maybe one day if I work really, really hard and I'm truly good at what I do, I might be able to get in, and I'm here and I love it. Hi, my name is Lila Valencia and I'm a fine arts major here at UOP, and this is my art studio.
My brother did swimming, and so I'm from a family of 4, so I looked up to my older siblings, so I just kind of followed his suit and kind of just followed his footsteps. And then my sophomore year, I hit the massive improvements, and that's when I really hit swimming, and I was really drawn into the sport, and I was like, no, this is what I want to do. Even if there are failures and there are challenges, this is just so rewarding to put in this work and try every day and then be rewarded by your hard work. Yeah, the day starts at 5:30, and then probably the last thing I end at is probably 7:30 in the afternoon when practice ends. Go home, have dinner, try to get a few more hours of studying in before I gotta go to bed early. It's hard sometimes waking up at 4:45 in the morning when you have to study, but I've never missed a morning practice for a test. And I've always gone to test day and gone to morning practice at the same time. So if there's a test on Friday, you better bet I'm at 5:30 practice, and then I roll out and I go to the test at 8. It's just how it works. You have to manage your expectations. I don't have a 4.0, but I have a pretty high respectable GPA. I made the dean's list in the business school, Beta Gamma Sigma Honor Society. It's all about time management, how bad you want to be successful. I'd like to take all the connections I've made through swimming, the business school, the student investment fund, and really grow that into somewhere in banking. Being a financial representative would be something I really would want to do. The ultimate goal would be a financial representative for athletes. I think the business school has really accelerated my growth as a person. It's really pushed me to places I've never thought I'd go. It challenged me in ways, and then just being the student athlete part made me be something that I didn't think I could be. You know, it made me be someone who needs to be really organized, needs to be on top of my stuff. I can't just take a week off. Being a student athlete and being a double major has just made me challenge myself.
Riverside are committed to standing up against racial injustice.
We will listen, we will understand, and we will love.
We will continue the conversation and education on race and injustice.
We will expand our players and staff's perspective by continuing to
Welcome back courtside to the Alex G. Spano Center. Zach Beyruti, glad to have you with us. It is halftime, and our score at Intermission: Pacific 38 and UC Riverside 27. Hi, how you doing? We are we're live on camera here at halftime. Something we hope to do as much as we can in the pregame and at halftime to just kind of help make you feel like you're here. And I tell you, we miss you here. I can tell you that. It's different doing this in an empty venue, but glad that these teams are able to play. The student-athlete experience, of course, is able to go on, but boy, we miss having the fans here, and I can't wait to get you back. All right, let's delve into the numbers here from half number one. I didn't can I get one of those? Thank you. You get to watch my negotiations now for these sheets. Let's start with the score. Pacific 38, UC Riverside 27. A lot of reasons to be encouraged if you're a Pacific fan. Some great minutes put in by many different players, and you can tell that depth is going to be a strength this season for the Tigers. And again, we're going off of 20 minutes. I know that, but the energy and effort was very good. Let's delve into the numbers, and with the Pacific leading 38-27, we'll start with the Tigers. They were led by Jeremiah Bailey, who led all scorers with 11 points. Bailey, 3 of 4 from the floor, 2 of 3 from outside, and 3 of 4 from the line. Bailey got off to a really nice start and really set the tone for a nice first half that he had. And a trio, actually 4 players on the Pacific side with 5 points. Pierre Crockrell, 5 points on 2 of 4 from the floor. That is incorrect because Pierre did not make a three-pointer. All right, some of the live stats are going to be wrong here. So I know Pierre did not make a three in that first half. And again, we're getting everything kind of worked out. But maybe Pierre does have 5 points. But yeah, we're fixing the book over there. Some stuff printed off wrong. But Pierre does have 5 points on 2 of 4 from the floor. It says 1 of 1 from outside, but not so. Danis Jenkins has 5 points. Danis, 2 of 10 from the floor, so he hasn't really shot at a high clip. Per se, but 2 of 10 from the floor, 0 of 2 from beyond the arc, and Danis 1 of 1 from the line. Brock Finstoon also with 5 points on 2 of 2. Finstoon 1 of 2 from the line, and 5 points for Justin Moore on 2 of 2. Moore was 1 of 2 from the line. 4 points for Nigel Shad on 2 of 3 in his Tiger debut. Shad pulled down a couple of rebounds as well, and 3 points for Jordan Bell, the transfer from LMU, on 1 of 3. And the 1 of 3 for Jordan Bell was all from beyond the arc. The Tigers in that first half shot 45%, 14 for 31 from the floor. From beyond the arc, Pacific 4 of 9, 44% from the free throw line, 6 of 13, 46%. So the free throw shooting certainly an area that can get better for Pacific. UC Riverside led in that first half points-wise by Will Tattersall. Tattersall, 6 points. 3 of those came from the free throw line. He was fouled on a three-pointer, and it looks like Tattersall's a guy you don't want to be fouling because his stroke looks pretty good from the line. He's 4 of 4 from the stripe. Tattersall just 1 of 5 from the floor. So if you're Pacific, you got to stop putting him at the line. 5 points for Dominic Pickett on 2 of 3. Pickett was 1 of 2 from beyond the arc. 4 points for Jock Perry, the St. Mary's transfer, 2 of 7 from the floor. He was 0 of 3 from outside. Perry led all rebounders in the first half with 6. 3 points for Quinton Ford. Ford on 1 of 1 from the floor. He was also 1 of 1 from the line. 3 points for Flynn Cameron, the DePaul transfer. 1 of 2 from the floor. 1 of 1 from beyond the arc. And 2 points for Zion Pullen on 1 of 2. 2 points for George Wilborn III on 1 of 1. In the first half, UC Riverside 10 of 24 from the floor. 42% if you round up. 2 of 11 from beyond the arc. And 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Points off of turnovers, Pacific with 15 points off of turnovers, UC Riverside with 2. Points in the paint are about even, Pacific 16, Riverside 14. Riverside with 5 second chance points, Pacific with 3. Tigers had the only 3 fast break points of the half, and the Riverside bench outscoring the Pacific bench 11-8. 2 ties, 1 lead change, and Pacific's biggest lead was 11 in that first half. Riverside led by 3. The Highlanders only led for 1:08 that half. The Tigers led for just over 16.5 minutes in the first half. So that's the story the numbers tell from half number 1. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll quickly run down the out-of-town scoreboard in the West Coast Conference, look at the Pacific schedule, and we'll start the second half. That's coming up next, about 3 minutes from the start of the half. It's Pacific 38, UC Riverside 27. We're back after this on KWSX AM 1280.
We are committed to standing up against racial injustice.
We will listen, we will understand, and we will love.
We will continue the conversation and education on race and injustice.
We will expand our players' and staff's perspective by continuing to seek out mentorship from diverse populations.
We will educate our student athletes on the voting process, how to register, what to look for.
We're also going to make sure that each and every one of our guys are registered to vote, but also knowledgeable on each candidate.
We will educate ourselves on the issues and vote on November 3rd.
We are committed to using our platform to speak out for those who need to be heard.
I am committed to using my voice to raise awareness, support those I care about, and support those in my communities.
We will work to ensure that our program promotes a respectful and inclusive environment.
We have developed a committee dedicated to incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion in our program.
I will hold myself accountable and be present with my teammates every day.
I will continue the conversation on my team.
I am finding ways to reach out and express my love, my appreciation, and my respect for others.
I will ensure that our international student athletes will better understand systematic racism in America so that they can help be the change.
We are committed to being the change we need in our society.
We are underway, the start of the second half at the Alex G. Spanos Center. Zach Beyruti, glad to have you along. It's 38-27 Pacific, and right away we have a foul called on UC Riverside, and the foul is going to be on Jock Perry. And Perry, a quick foul here inside the first 13 seconds of the second half. Tigers moving from our left to our right in the second half. They're inbounding off to our right. Crockrell bounce pass inbounds to Danis Jenkins, and Jenkins with a great hesitation move midair to shake Flynn Cameron, who is coming from behind to try and block a shot. And Danis Jenkins, great hang time to spring loose for that layup, and it's 40-27 Pacific. Now Riverside's first possession of the second half, and they move from our right to our left as Perry dribbles to his left, shovels to Cameron. Cameron's going to drive in a left-hand hook shot off the glass. Tough angle, no, and the rebound taken by Jeremiah Bailey to Jenkins. Cross-court pass near side to Crockrell. Pierre's got to spin it back. Was not there for Pierre. And a great discipline there to get it back, and now spins out to Jeremiah Bailey. Bailey is going to take a step back jumper, and it is around the rim and in from about 18 feet away. Jeremiah Bailey continues to score the basketball today. He has 13 points, a game high. Bailey with 4 buckets now from the floor, and it's 42-27 Pacific with 18:50 and counting to go in the second half. Up top, it is Zion Pullen, and Pullen is going to drive baseline right, spin it back out, give to Pickett in the high front court to Perry up top. Perry, guarded by Shad, gives it to Pickett, right wing. Pickett drives in off the dribble, baseline right. Tough pull-up, no, as the shot clock horn sounded. Rebound is botched, and then a putback attempt is blocked by Flynn Cameron. Tigers couldn't get that rebound, and now Nigel Shad's going to block Jock Perry. Perry falls to the ground. There's going to be a foul, though, on, it's like Pierre Crockrell, who was on the back end of that sandwich. Shad with a clean block, but Crockrell was behind him, and I believe got a piece of the body. And that will put UC Riverside at the line. Jock Perry is going to the line. It was an initial rebound that was botched by the Tigers, a loose ball, and it was picked back up by Riverside. And it has led to these free throw attempts for Jock Perry. His first one is up, and it is good. First free throw of the day for Perry, and here's the second. It's up and good. 42-29 Pacific, 18-26, and now counting to go in the second half. Our left to our right go the Tigers in half number 2, and Riverside applying some backcourt pressure. Crockrell across the Power Cat logo. Crockrell moving toward the far sideline. Crockrell now looking to his right, spins back to his left, gives to Bailey. Bailey going to drive with a left hand, puts it up, it's short, and a rebound taken by Pickett. Pickett will shovel to Pullen, who takes it across the front court. Or across the center court stripe, into the front court, rather. Pullen going to stop the dribble, give it up top to Cameron. Cameron to Perry. Perry is up top of the key. Perry stops, gives to his left to Cameron. Cameron is going to get it to Perry, lower left block, spin move, and a travel. Thought so. Nigel Shad was on the back end of that double team, and if they didn't call a travel, it was going to be a foul, and a tough foul on Shad because it looked like Jock Perry had traveled, and sure enough, Mike Reed all over it. 42-29 Pacific, 17:45 and counting to go in the second half. Crockrell and Finstoon exchanging passes in the backcourt. Finstoon takes up the far left sideline with his left hand. Finstoon gives it back to Crockrell, center court. Pierre holding the ball in his left hip, starts a left-handed dribble, hands it off to Finstoon. Finstoon shovels to Jenkins. Dana standing at an angle to the bucket, angled to his right, off a Shad screen, dribbles to his left, and there's going to be a foul called on Riverside. It's going to be on Pickett, who is trying to fight his way through that Nigel Shad screen. I like what I've seen from Nigel Shad so far for the Tigers. Big body, he's shown some great touch. Far sideline inbounded by Crockrell to Bailey. Bailey on the left wing gives a bounce pass to a cutting Jenkins underneath the bucket, and an impossible angle somehow gets it up and in, and he'll get to the line as well. And the foul is going to be on Dominic Pickett. That was a great cut on the baseline by Jenkins. Great pass in there by Bailey. A backdoor by Jenkins, and then an impossible angle with the contact, able to kiss it off the window and through. Shad will check out for the Tigers here. Jordan Bell will come in. 17:20 to go in the second half. It's 44-29 Pacific. Danis's free throw is up and good. 45-29, the Tigers open up a 16-point lead now. Their largest of the day. Left wing, it's Pickett. Pickett gives a bounce pass to Chittum. Chittum's going to get toward the bucket, puts it up, no, but he does get fouled. Chittum was going in from baseline left. Foul is going to be on Jordan Bell. So Chittum is at the line, where last season he was a 72% free throw shooter. This is his first free throw of the season. It's up and good. Chittum, again, out of Bishop O'Dowd High School. He went to Washington State, then transferred to UC Riverside. Leading scorer from a year ago for the Highlanders, just under 12 points a game. He's also their leading rebounder from last season, averaged just over 6.5 rebounds a game. Second one up, and no good. And the rebound taken by Finstoon. That one off the heel and then went out to the left. 45-30 Pacific by 15. Crockrell dribbles to his left. Pierre tries to stop and dish to his right, but he ended up traveling, couldn't quite stop his pivot foot. So with exactly 17 minutes to go in the contest in regulation, Riverside will take over off of a Pacific turnover. First Crockrell turnover of the season, of the game, obviously, but Pierre fourth in all of NCAA Division I in assist-to-turnover ratio a year ago. So uncharacteristic for him to turn the ball over, but that's his first one of the day. Pullen is going to pull it back out, and Pullen dribbling to his right near the top of the circle is going to be hand-checked by Crockrell. So tough sequence there for Pierre, tough 22 seconds with the foul, or the turnover and then the foul. And from the near sideline, it'll be UC Riverside to inbound. A reminder that on Friday, the Tigers will take on Fresno State. We didn't have a chance to get into that. It was a quick halftime. Didn't have a chance to get into that, the nuts and bolts of the schedule. We'll do that probably in the postgame while we wait for Damon Stoudemire. But Fresno State is in here on Friday. That's a 3 p.m. start. We'll have it for you on Fox Sports AM 1280 and on the WCC network on TV, the live stream as well. 5 to shoot on the right wing. Driving in is Flynn Cameron. And Cameron, I believe, I don't know if he had his shot blocked or if he just didn't get it to the rim. He was down low and he was smothered. Nonetheless, it's a shot clock violation. Cameron was underneath the goal. I think it either hit the bottom of the backboard, I couldn't quite tell, or someone got a hand on it. Either way, it remains 45-30 Pacific as we approach 16 minutes to go in the second half. More backcourt pressure applied by Riverside. Jenkins into the front court. Jenkins slings it to the far side to Bell. Now to Finstoon. Finstoon thought about an in-rhythm three, thinks better of it. Skip pass to Jenkins, near corner three, that's short. Rebound, Jeremiah Bailey puts it up and in. Bailey with 15 points, and that off an offensive rebound, his third board of the day, and it's 47-30, a 17-point lead for the orange and black. Up top, it's Perry. Perry holding over his head, dribbles one time to his left, gives a bounce pass to Pickett. Pickett's on the left wing, guarded by Crockrell. Under 16, so we'll get a stop at the next dead ball. Pass to his right, a three attempted and missed by Pullen. The ball's loose underneath. Jordan Bell gets a hold of it and then flings it up, and Jeremiah Bailey gets control of it. Great job on that loose ball by Bell to just heave it to where he had a teammate, and that was Jeremiah Bailey. Now Jenkins on the offensive end, a step back three. That is way long. And the rebound falls right to Arinze Chittum. Chittum gives to Cameron. Cameron's going to hand it off to Chittum. Chittum drives in and travels. Chittum tried to drive in. He got not quite to the lower left block, but he kind of hesitated right as he was on top of that. Tried to stop himself and clearly traveled. So turnover for UC Riverside. And for the Highlanders, their 11th turnover. By contrast, the Tigers have turned the ball over just 4 times today. Takes us to a timeout on the floor. 15-10 to go in the second half, and in regulation, Pacific Tigers 47, the UC Riverside Highlanders 30. We're back after this on Fox Sports AM 1280.
At this moment, in Stockton, Sacramento, and San Francisco, a University of the Pacific student has made a decision to learn, live, and lead with purpose in mind. Here, it's all about moments. Moments that change lives, families, communities, economies, the world. At University of the Pacific, these moments give life purpose. They give us purpose, too. After all, we share one future. Join us.
In Midtown Stockton, California, Zach Beyruti, glad to have you with us. Pacific Tigers men's basketball on the radio and on your video as well. If you're watching online via the Stadium WCC network, we're glad to have you with us wherever you're catching us today. Opening day 2020, unlike any other But here we are masked up in an empty arena, and the Pacific is having a great showing here in their opener. 47-30, the Tigers lead by 17, matching their largest lead of the day as the Tigers have it. And in the offensive end is Jabril Price-Noel, top of the circle. Jabril gives to Jordan Bell. Bell dribbles one time, feigns a handoff, and now he'll lob it back to Finstoon. Finstoon chest pass to his left to Bailey. On the left wing, tried to get it to Justin Moore, and a misconnection there. Goes out of bounds to the socially distanced Tiger bench, which is across from us. Bit of a throwback here with the Tigers on the far side of the court from us, where the bleachers are. That's where Pacific and where press row used to be before the Tigers moved to the WCC. That's where we were so many years. Bob Thomason had those great teams. They were on those bleachers on the other side of the arena, which is where the Tigers have their chairs now. And Riverside, of course, on that same side as well, but just adjacent to where Pacific is driving in, putting it off the glass, missing the layup. Beg your pardon, it was Arinze Chittum. Chittum was under duress, and a rebound taken by Pacific. Moore dribbling to his left. Moore is going to give it back to Bell. Bell dribbles at an angle to his right. Bell is going to hand it off to Bailey on the right wing. He's going to take a three. He's feeling it, but not that time. And a rebound yanked down by Zion Pullen. Under 14 to go in the second half. It's 47-30 Pacific. Pullen is going to shovel it out to Cameron. Cameron's three from the left wing is no good. The rebound taken by nobody. A loose ball. It's going to be a loose ball foul, and it's going to go against UC Riverside. And it will be, I believe, Chittum. Nope, check that. Angus McWilliam. Salazar back on the floor for Pacific. Salazar had a couple of personal fouls in that first half. So Salazar back out there for Pacific. Salazar dribbling to his left is going to try and hand it off to Moore. A bit of a clunky handoff, but Moore able to finally get control of it on the far sideline. 7 to shoot. Moore is still on the left wing. Moore crosses over to his right hand. Moore in the lane, dishes down low to Salazar. 2 to shoot, and Salazar tried to get free and spin, and instead traveled. So turnover for the Tigers. By the way, Angus McWilliam, who had the last foul for UC Riverside, he has 4 now. Becomes the first player from either side to have 4 fouls. Left wing, it is Tattersall. Tattersall gives to Chittum. Chittum trying to drive baseline left on Salazar, and maybe a hand check on Salazar, yep. So that's the third personal on Salazar. So we can already kind of discern that Salazar is a guy you're going to have to keep an eye on in terms of foul trouble. And of course, this is his first collegiate season. This is his first college game. He'll kind of get better with the nuances of not committing those types of fouls. As the inbound and a quick shot by Arinze Chittum, and that is good from baseline left. 47-32, Pacific by 15. Under 13 remaining in regulation. Moore is going to give a bounce pass to his right to Jabril Price-Noel, almost stolen by Cameron, almost a bad pass, but JPN has it, drives toward the bucket, kisses it off the window, no. Loose ball, and the rebound taken by Pullen, trying to get in transition, but the Tigers back nicely on defense. Pullen gives to the left corner to Tattersall, now to Pullen on the left wing. Pullen dribbling to his right, gives it back to Tattersall, left corner. Back up top to Pullen. Pullen gives in front to Chittum. Chittum is dribbling to his right, crossing over near the right elbow, has his pocket picked from behind by Moore. 2-on-1, Moore and Jabril, and Moore is tied up from behind, and the ball stolen. Tattersall doing a nice job there for the Highlanders. Back the other way they go. Pullen, Tattersall, left corner. Back up top to Pullen. Now up top to Cameron for 3. That is off the mark, and the rebound is loose and controlled by Riverside. Flynn Cameron has it far corner. To Chittum, to Tattersall, and now to the near side to Pullen. Pullen crossing over as we go into 12 minutes to go here in regulation. Back up top to Cameron. Cameron to Chittum. Chittum trying to drive up on Bell. Bell's big body preventing that. Now to Tattersall cutting along the baseline. Misses the layup. Loose ball, and a loose ball foul is going to be on Angus McWilliam. And if the live stats are correct, that should be 5 on McWilliam. But we'll check and see. But the live stats had him at 4. If that is correct, that would be number 5 on McWilliam. So Pacific will have the ball. We come back. Timeout on the floor. That is the 4th foul. So the live stats were incorrect. So that is the 4th foul on McWilliam. I had a feeling. The timeout comes with 11:46 to go in regulation. Pacific 47, UC Riverside 32. on Fox Sports AM 1280.
When you walk throughout campus, like it's almost one of those campuses where everybody kind of smiles at each other. It's just welcoming. Everybody's so welcoming. I feel like I'm coming home.
One of the big strengths of Pacific is the small class sizes. I feel like I know all of my professors and that they know me.
I hear stories all the time from people at the big brand name schools and how they wish that there was more personal interaction.
I really like the environment that I felt at Pacific from like the first day at the Stockton campus. I just really felt like the professors actually knew who I was.
It's family to me, and I can hardly wait to get up in the morning and get in my car and come over here and then see my friends, my colleagues as students. They become family to me.
The students know that we care, that they matter in the classroom, and we know each of them by name.
We realize that our first responsibility is to our students, and we have always taken that responsibility very seriously. So our first responsibility is teaching, our second responsibility is scholarship. It's not the other way around here.
Been waiting a long time to say courtside at the Alex G. Spano Center. Zach Bayruti, glad to have you with us. You are here in spirit. I know you are. I know a lot of folks attend every Pacific home game and wish they could be here today, but trust me, we feel you here. We wish you were here, and hopefully these broadcasts will help this season as we have 11:41 and counting to go in regulation. Pacific 47, UC Riverside 32. Tigers in the offensive end have Justin Moore on the right wing. Bounce pass inside to Shad, guarded by Perry. Shad angling in on Perry. Shad's going to give a bounce pass instead down on the baseline to Salazar, who is tucking in behind the defense. Ball is deflected out of bounds, last touched by UC Riverside. So Tigers have it back, 12 seconds on the shot clock, 11:28 to go in regulation. Baseline right, Moore slaps the basketball, and he's going to inbound to Price Noel. Baseline right, quick shot by JPN, no, and the rebound is loose, controlled by Moore. Salazar got his paws on it and knocked it back to Justin Moore. And the Tigers will get a reset here. Gervais Green also on the floor now for Pacific as part of their last substitution package. Green saw a couple of minutes in the first half. The Nebraska transfer is on the right wing while Moore is handling the ball on the left. Moore, a head fake, gets underneath the bucket. Moore stepped on the end line, I believe, yep. Moore tried to tightrope down there and didn't quite work out. So with 11:04 to go in the second half, UC Riverside takes over, 47-32. This game has been mucked up a little bit in the last few minutes. We saw a lot of scoring in the last couple of minutes of the first half, but a relative dry spell here in the last couple of minutes we've seen in the second half. Keep in mind, last year, Pacific won 58-51. It was an ugly game. Is spinning toward the bucket, kissing it off the glass and in, Arinze Chittum. And count the bucket. The foul is going to be on Jonathan Salazar, and that'll be number 4 on Salazar. So with that, Jeremiah Bailey is going to come in for Pacific. And at the line, Chittum to complete a three-point play. Chittum, a 72% free throw shooter from a year ago, is 1 of 2 from the line in this one. Chittum with 7 points. Tigers have kept him in check. Again, their leading returning scorer from a season ago. Looks like there's some perspiration on the floor. I think they want to get it mopped up. Officials trying to get someone's attention with a mop. Shout out to Chris Pond. CP is walking over there with a purpose. Try and find either a mop or a towel or something. Again, I think it's just a sweat puddle. The official is looking. Officials now are looking at the. You can kind of see it on your monitor. It's the C underneath the lettering that spells out Pacific at center court. The I and the C. Oh, there's blood. Okay, there's blood on the floor. So that's why CP was going over there. He got some gauze and some product to remove the blood off the floor. Other duties is assigned for CP. As if that guy isn't doing enough already. A shout out to Chris Pond. I know everybody knows Chris, the longtime head athletic trainer here at Pacific. He's been the point man for so many of the COVID protocols in the athletic department. Not only is he doing that, he's also still teaching his athletic training classes and doing treatments for these student athletes. So there has been nobody working harder on campus, trust me, than CP. And right now he's he's being pressed into duty with some blood on the floor, and it's right. It's like in a dark spot, like where there's black and orange. It's not on the lighter spot of the floor. Now CP has a little bit of help. I mean, these days we're going to bring in the hazmat unit when something like this happens. All right. Looks like they got it cleaned up. Good job, CP. So Chittum at the line to complete a three-point play. It's no good. Yeah, they iced him. The rebound taken by Pacific. 47-34, Tigers by 13, 10:44 and counting to go in regulation. Almost halfway through the second half as Crockrell in the key gives it out to Price Noel, right wing. Jabril slings it back out to Bailey. Bailey to Crockrell in the high front court. Crockrell directing traffic. Pierre starts to dribble, moves to his left, slithers through the defense, puts a floater up from 12 and knocks it down. Off the backboard, around the rim and through for Pierre Crockrell. 49-34 Pacific, 10:19 and counting to go in the second half. In the front court, UC Riverside going to get it out to Chittum. Chittum a shot fake from the right wing, and he traveled. So Chittum tried to have a shot fake at the same time was moving his feet. Did not work out for him. Turnover for UC Riverside. And for Riverside, that's turnover number 13. Second turnover committed by Chittum. It's Bailey, Crockrell, who are the two in the backcourt for the Tigers. Price, Noel, Shad, and Green on the front line for Pacific. As up top, it is Price, Noel. Jabril trying to get through the defense, goes into Jock Perry, forces a shot. No, loose ball picked up by Shad, but he missed the layup. And Jabril has the loose ball, and now he's tied up. And it's going to be a foul, I believe, on Riverside. Didn't know if it was going to be a jump ball or a tie-up or a foul. It's going to be the latter. It's going to be Tattersall committing the foul. Pullen will come out for Riverside. Looks like Pickett will come in. Dominic Pickett back on the floor. The inbound from Crockrell to Price Noel, and Jabril puts it up and in from the lower right block. Beautiful inbound by Crockrell. Great presence of mind by Price Noel with the shot fake from the lower right block. And it's 51-34. Pacific is now Perry underneath, able to put it up and in on a nice pass given to him, I believe, by Flynn Cameron across the way. 51-36 Pacific, 9:34 and counting to go in the second half. Crockrell on the far sideline, shovels it to Price Noel, up top to Green. Green holding near his chest, now starts to dribble, gives to Crockrell near side. Crockrell dribbles up top, gives to Green, and an illegal screen set, I believe, by Nigel Shad to get Green free. And yeah, it was Nigel Shad on that illegal screen. That is the third personal on Nigel. I want to say 2 of those have been illegal screens. 9:16 and counting to go in the second half. 51-36 Pacific. Perry up top, dribbles one time, gives a bounce pass to his right to Tattersall. Tattersall dribbles to his left. Tattersall up top to Pickett. Pickett dribbling to his left. Pickett trying to behind the back pass, not there. Stolen by Bailey, ahead to Crockrell. Crockrell going into Tattersall, scoops it up and in, off the window. Pierre Crockrell able to create separation between he and the much taller Tattersall and put it off the glass and in. Great finish by Crockrell and a high degree of difficulty. 53-36 Pacific is now Perry the other way, puts it off the glass and in. They've gotten Jacques Perry a couple easy looks here. Last couple of times down the floor have the Highlanders. Tigers need to put the kibosh on that as Crockrell in the key. Crockrell drives toward the baseline. Pierre spins it out, gives to Green. Chest pass across the way to Bailey. Bailey stops the dribble. Bailey chest pass to his left to Price Noel. Jabril dribbles to his left. Is double teamed for a moment. Now tries to get past them on the baseline, and he lost a handle on the basketball. And it's out of bounds and turned over by Jabril Price Noel. Back to UC Riverside. Pacific 53, UCR 38, 8:20 to go in the second half. From our right to our left go the Highlanders. Pickett in the front court. Pickett to Chittum. Chittum Little hesitation move going to the left of the lane. Chittum goes up with his right hand, puts it off the rim and then off the backboard and in. 53-40 with 8:04 and counting to go in half number 2. Pacific leading by 13. The Tigers have led by as many as 17 in this one. Crockrell, chest pass to his right to Green. Green stops the dribble, gives to Shad. Now Shad off a give and go, sets the screen. Green goes up toward the glass, puts it up, no. Shad tries to bat it back up and in, no. Green with the rebound, puts it up, no. Third time, not a charm for Pacific that time. And UC Riverside with the rebound. Just approaching 7.5 minutes to go in half number 2. 53-40 Pacific. Dribbling to his left is Cameron. Cameron gives it up top to Chittum for 3. That is good. Arinze Chittum, the Bishop O'Dowd product from Oakland, and a 44% shooter from beyond the arc, keeping Riverside in this one. It's 53-43. Tiger lead has been trimmed to 10, and a timeout called, I believe, by Riverside. This is the first bench timeout of the second half. It'll stretch and become the immediate timeout, and we will take it as well. 7:22 to go in regulation. Pacific 53, UC Riverside 43, and we're back after this on Fox Sports AM 1280.
I've always wanted to come here since I was little. And I remember I would pass by here when I was younger. We would come and take pictures or come for tours when I was like in middle school. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I was just in shock by the buildings themselves and the history of UOP and the people within it. It was just a beautiful place that I dreamt of. I thought maybe one day if I work really, really hard and I'm good, I'm truly good at what I do, I might be able to get in, and I'm here and I love it. Hi, my name is Lila Valencia and I'm a fine arts major here at UOP, and this is my art studio.
My brother did swimming, and so I'm from a family of 4, so I looked up to my older siblings, so I just kind of followed his suit and kind of just followed his footsteps. And then my sophomore year, I hit the massive improvements, and that's when I really hit swimming, and I was really
7:22 to go in regulation.
No,
Pacific 53, UC Riverside 43. Zach Bayruti, glad to be with you. As UC Riverside over the last minute 46 seconds on a 7-0 run. If you expand it out, it's a 9-2 run over the last 2:39. Tigers, by contrast, have gone scoreless in that stretch, that last 96-second stretch. Pacific has not scored. 53-43, Pacific by 10. Tigers can start to think about, in a couple of minutes, using some clock if they maintain a decent-sized lead, start to kind of grind it down a little bit as Price Noel in the front court. And Jabril is going to look toward Crockrell off to his left, leaves him a bounce pass. Crockrell up top, Pierre holding the ball between his knees. Pierre, dribble to use if he wants, he does. Now he goes toward the bucket, puts it up, a floater around the rim and in. Big bucket by Crockrell, and that snaps that scoreless stretch for the Tigers that lasted just over 2 minutes. 55-43 Pacific, 6:45 and counting to go in regulation. Pullen driving for Riverside, gives it out to Pickett. Left wing, it is Tattersall. Tattersall stops on the baseline, gives it out to Pickett. Pickett dribbling to his left on a double team, gives to Perry up top. Now back to Pickett. Pickett, guarded by Shad's going to take a step back 3, and that is short. Rebound is batted out of bounds by Price Noel, which is a good thing because Tattersall was right there to take the rebound if Jabril does not bat it away. This is going to be the under 8 media timeout, and we're going to take it as well, of course. 6:27 to go in regulation. Pacific 55, UC Riverside 43. And once again, we're back after this on Fox Sports AM 1280.
We, the student athletes, coaches,
administrators, and fans of the West Coast Conference,
respectfully represent the values of all West Coast Conference institutions.
We elevate and celebrate performance
through sport rather than negative behavior.
Physical and verbal attacks, obscene gestures, taunting,
and displays of profane language are not tolerated.
We are committed to positive sportsmanship
that represents our conference, our school,
our team, and ourselves.
What is our way? Our way is unrelenting. Imposing as the mountaintops to our east, strong as the ocean to our west. Our way is forward, challenged by past achievement, expecting future success. Our way is committed, devoted, passionate. Our way fuels us to be different, to be inspired, to have faith in each other. What is our way? Our way is West.
.620 to go in the second half. Zach Bayruti, glad to have you with us. It's Pacific 55, UC Riverside 43, the opener of the 2020-21 season. As Pierre Crockrell on the offensive end for the Tigers starts the offense, now they swing it to Danis Jenkins up top to Jeremiah Bailey. Bailey driving left of the lane, and there's going to be an offensive foul called on Pacific. And it's going to be an illegal hook of the arm by Jeremiah Bailey as he was trying to drive in. So with 6 minutes to go in regulation, Riverside takes it over, trailing by 12. From our right to our left, it's going to be Chittum. Chittum is going to try and back his way in. Chittum spins toward the baseline. Chittum trying to angle every which way, puts it up with the right hand and banks it home. That was a great move by Arinze Chittum. 55-45, Pacific's lead is 10. Crockrell, well, hesitation move, now backpedals. Crockrell is on the far side, spins to his right, gives a bounce pass to Finstoon. Finstoon is looking to his right, pass is denied, so he gives to his left to Shad. Back to Finstoon on a handoff. Brock drives left of the lane. Finstoon on the baseline, slings it out to Bailey for a wide open right wing three, and that is pure. Jeremiah Bailey has been feeling it today, and he has 18 points to lead all scorers. 58-45, the Tiger lead, back to 13. It's been as big as 17. Chittum's going to try and answer from two from the left elbow. It's no good, and the rebound taken by Finstoon. Shad was right in there as well. Nigel mistimed his leap for that rebound, but Finstoon is there to clean it up. We're going to tick under 5 minutes here as Crockrell behind the shoulder pass to Bailey for three. That is off the mark this time, and a rebound taken by Cameron. Now the Tigers can kind of start to think about slowing this game down as a whistle and a travel is going to be called on Flynn Cameron. Cameron was trying to pass it to the near corner to Will Tattersall. And with 4:49 to go, the Tigers' lead is 13. And again, they can kind of start to think about grinding this down. Jeremiah Bailey, by the way, 22 points is his career high. And he's 4 away from that. That career high came versus Pepperdine on March 17th. Of 2019, or March 7th, I believe, of 2019. Finstoon up top. Finstoon holding over his head, gives a bounce pass to Crockrell. Crockrell, his back toward the hoop, is looking to his left, gives a bounce pass to Jenkins on a curl. Jenkins back to Crockrell on the right wing, 9 to shoot. Pierre is going to slither into the defense, into the lane, now back it back out. Crockrell now going to drive it back up and put it off the glass. Couldn't quite get it to spin home, though. Nice drive off the hesitation by Crockrell. Riverside with the rebound and out on the offensive end. Riverside, not really a team meant to go fast as they get it out to the right wing to Tattersall. Look out, wide open three, and that is good. Tattersall from the right wing was all by himself, and he's the guy that we're finding out you can't leave. Tattersall has 12 points now.
I've always wanted to come.
And it's going to be a 30-second timeout.
I remember I would have passed by here.
Called by UC Riverside. This is going to stretch, become a full timeout. We will take it as well. 4:06 to go in regulation. Pacific 58, Riverside 48, and we're back after this on Fox Sports AM 1280.
The buildings themselves and the history of UOP and the people within it. It was just a beautiful place that I dreamt of. I thought maybe one day if I work really, really hard and I'm good, I'm truly good at what I do, I might be able to get in, and I'm here and I love it. Hi, my name is Lila Valencia and I'm a fine arts major here at UOP, and this is my art studio.
My brother did swimming, and so I'm from a family of 4, so I looked up to my older siblings, so I just kind of followed his suit and kind of just followed his footsteps. And then my sophomore year, I hit the massive improvements, and that's when I really hit swimming, and I was really drawn into the sport, and I was like, no, this is what I want to do. Even if there are failures and there are challenges, this is just so rewarding to put in this work and try every day and then be rewarded by your hard work. Yeah, the day starts at 5:30, and then probably the last thing I end at is probably 7:30 in the afternoon.
Courtside at the Alex G. Spanos Center, Zach Bayruti bringing you down the home stretch. 4:06 to go in this one. And it's Pacific 58, UC Riverside 48. And Pacific will have the basketball off a made three-pointer by Will Tattersall for UC Riverside to draw them to within 10. So now it's time, if you're the Tigers, to just take care of the basketball and use as much clock as you can on these possessions and just be strong with the basketball. No turnovers here, or very limited in the last 4 minutes, as Crockrell gives to Danis Jenkins on the baseline, slips a bounce pass to Jordan Bell. Bell is near the lower right block, trying to back his way in now on Angus McWilliam. Bell goes up with the left hand, no, and there's gonna be a foul called on McWilliam, and that's number 5 on Angus McWilliam. We thought he had 5 earlier. There was a typo on the live stats, but that is the 5th for Angus McWilliam. So it's going to be free throws coming here for Jordan Bell, and Jock Perry will get off the bench for UC Riverside. Perry, by the way, with 10 points and 7 rebounds. So a nice showing for him in his Riverside debut. Angus McWilliam has fouled out. No points for McWilliam. 1 rebound, 1 assist. Bell's free throw is up and no good. Bell, his first free throw as a Tiger, is off to the left. Tigers from the line in this game, 7 of 15. Second one up and short. He missed them both, and the rebound taken by Flynn Cameron. Cameron into the front court, our right to our left. 3:40 to go in this second half as Cameron behind the back pass to Tattersall. Now to Perry. Perry passes to his left to Chittum. Chittum passes to his right to Pullen, and then back to the right corner for 3, and that is good. Flynn Cameron was in the right corner. It's now 58-51. Pacific's lead is 7. Crockrell at an angle to his left, gives a bounce pass to his left to Bailey. Bailey dribbles to his left, gives it to Finstoon. Finstoon on the far left sideline. Finstoon gives a bounce pass to Jenkins up top. 3:05 to go in the game, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Jenkins driving in, stops right of the lane, gives it out to Bell. Bell gonna give it to the near corner to Crockrell. Shot fake, Crockrell, 1 to shoot. Gets a floater up, it's no good, and the rebound taken by Chittum, but it's gonna be a shot clock violation. Crockrell's floater never hit the rim. Pierre thought about a desperation 3 from the near corner. That is far from his game. But a great shot by Crockrell, considering that is his game, getting those floaters up. Not a bad look under the circumstances for Crockrell with the shot clock winding down. 2:45 and counting to go in regulation. 58-51, Pacific by 7. Out it goes to Tattersall. Tattersall to his left to Cameron. Further left it goes to Pullen. Pullen shimmies, dribbles to his right. In the middle of the lane, puts it up, no, but he does get fouled. And he's going to get to the line. The foul is going to be on Crockrell. Pullen's free throw is up and good. Pullen, a 66% free throw shooter a year ago. That was his first attempt of the season, and it's true. Second one is up and good. 58-53. Pacific's lead is 5. At one point it was 17. Tigers from our left to our right. Crockrell up the far left sideline. Pierre is going to get it across the timeline. And under duress is going to get it to Bailey in the high front court. Bailey dribbling to his left, hands it to Finstoon. Finstoon is going to hand it to Crockrell on the near sideline. Crockrell curls to his left in the lane, stops the dribble, under duress, gives to Bell. Bell is right of the lane, being guarded by Perry. Bell angling his way into the lane, goes up with the left hand and knocks it down. Big bucket by Jordan Bell. Tigers had not scored in the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And that bucket by Bell ends the dry spell, makes it 60-53, a 7-point lead for the Tigers with under 2 to go. Up top, it's Perry, a straightaway three, and Perry around the rim and out. Long rebound pops out, controlled by Crockrell, shovels to Bailey. Bailey to Janus Jenkins. Jenkins in the backcourt gives to Crockrell, and Crockrell has to get it across with 2 seconds to spare. He does. Pierre now content to just let the clock kind of bleed out as he dribbles near midcourt. Can't turn the ball over, though. Crockrell still with the dribble with the left hand, crosses over to his right. 10 seconds to shoot. Crockrell off a screen set by Bell. Pierre at the free throw line gives to Bell. Thought about a straightaway three, instead puts the ball on the floor. Bell is double teamed and a jump ball. And who has the possession arrow? It's going to be Riverside. So big tie up there for Riverside. It's a 7-point game and a timeout called by UC Riverside. It's going to be a full timeout. We're just going to keep it here. Let's see if we can get some scores going from around college basketball, at least from around the West Coast Conference. We wanted to do this at halftime and kind of take a look at how the afternoon was developing around the WCC, but let's take a look now. Some finals this morning in Connecticut. UMass Lowell defeated San Francisco 76-68. So UMass Lowell with a big win in the opener over USF. USF had a 6-point lead at the half. UMass Lowell outscored them 52-38 in the second half. Memphis defeating St. Mary's in South Dakota today, 73-56, so a tough loss for the Gales. Pepperdine and UC Irvine just underway. Irvine with a 12-8 lead. That's in the first 6 minutes in that one. Later on today, Idaho State and Santa Clara. And that is a 4 p.m. Pacific time start, so in about 15 minutes or so. Here, it's Pacific 60, UC Riverside 53. With a minute 20 to go. And it's going to be Bailey, Crockrell, Bell, Jenkins, and Finstoon on the floor for the Tigers. It's going to be Zion Pullen handling the ball for UC Riverside. He's out there with Chittum, with Tattersall as well. As a step back for Pullen is no good. It's going to be a long two if it went, but an offensive rebound put back up and in by Flynn Cameron. So Cameron fighting for the board makes it a 5-point game, 60-55. The Pacific lead is now 5. Crockrell is going to take it into the front court. Also, Jock Perry on the floor for Riverside. Perry, again, has 10 points in his Riverside debut as Crockrell near midcourt. 48 seconds to go in the contest. Crockrell letting the clock bleed as much as he can. Crockrell's now going to drive it. Pierre scoops it up off the glass. No. And a whistle and a foul on Riverside. Boy, Crockrell just slithered right through the defense. The foul's going to be on Jock Perry. Crockrell went into the socially distanced bench, which is usually the Tiger zone, which kind of wraps around the far corner from our vantage point near the tunnel, and he went right into those seats. So Crockrell at the line. His first free throw is up and no good. Pierre's first free throw of the night. His second one is up and good. So Crockrell, 1 of 2, makes it a 6-point lead, 61-55 Pacific. 42.7 and now counting as touching the ball is Pullen. Pullen at center court takes it across midcourt, gives to Chittum, beg your pardon. Chittum driving along the baseline is going to be fouled before the shot on an arm bar. Jeremiah Bailey. This will be 1-and-1 here for Arinze Chittum. Chittum's first free throw is up and no good, so he will not get another one. The rebound taken by Jordan Bell. And the Tigers dodge a bit of a bullet there as now Danis Jenkins in the front court. Jenkins going to try and weave in toward the lane, now pull it back out. Jenkins gives it to Bell, and a foul is going to be called. I beg your pardon, that is a timeout called by Pacific. They felt they were in some trouble there, and it's going to be a 30-second timeout, I believe, called by the Tiger bench. They're waiting to find out if it's going to indeed be a 30. It is a 30. So 30-second timeout. Pacific 61, UC Riverside 55. Again, the Tigers led by as many as 17. Pacific's largest lead, 17 points. The last time they held a 17-point lead was with 9:10 to go in this half. So how about that? With 9 minutes to go in this half, Pacific led 53-36. From the 9-minute mark to now, they've only scored 8 points. This has been a game more or less controlled by Pacific. The last lead for UC Riverside is when it was 3-2 inside the first couple of minutes of this one. So Jenkins will inbound from in front of us. And a timeout called by Pacific. Jenkins couldn't get it in. He had Jeremiah Bailey kind of breaking toward the backcourt. And this will be a full timeout. We're just going to keep it here and take a look at what's to come for Pacific. But again, yeah, going back to my point earlier, Tigers have struggled on the offensive end of the floor for the last 9 minutes, having only scored 8 minutes in this span, but nonetheless can pull out a nice opening day win here, 23.8 seconds away from that happening. And you'd figure as long as they could take care of the basketball, maybe knock down a couple of free throws, this would be in the win column for the Tigers. And then they head on to take on Fresno State this Friday. This is a 3 p.m. start, so another matinee. It was originally scheduled to be a 7 p.m. start, but in order to get Fresno State in and out to where they wouldn't have to spend a night, they moved it up to a matinee. So a 3 p.m. start on Friday, about 48 hours from now. And then the first road contest for the Tigers is at Nevada on Monday. After that road contest at Nevada, they'll come back home, take on Montana State and Westmont College December 2nd and 4th, respectively. And then their next road game would be at San Jose State on December the 6th. It's really tough to look any more past that, considering the circumstances, and we're literally on a minute by minute basis here as far as getting these games in. But as long as they're getting in, they're going to be on Fox Sports AM 1280. So we look forward to having you with us for that. Jenkins is going to inbound.
Foul first.
Inbound to Jeremiah Bailey. And there's going to be a foul on Arinze Chittum, who hit Bailey from behind as Bailey was attempting to receive that inbound pass. So 1-1 coming for Jeremiah Bailey. Bailey, who leads all scorers with 18, is 4 points away from matching a career high. The free throw is up and good, so he will get another. Second one up and good. So 22.9 seconds to go. The shot clock is now off for UC Riverside. 22.9. Pacific 63, Riverside 55. So Riverside's going to have to get down, get a shot up quickly. And you figure if they don't make a bucket here, you figure it's pretty much all she wrote. I don't know if they'd even foul at this point. There's some things being sorted out off to our left. I don't know if you're watching the live stats. I don't know if there might be an error in them, but kind of being alerted to that. I can assure you the score is right, though, and that's the important thing here at this juncture. 63-55 Pacific, 22.9 seconds to go in regulation. All right, so Riverside's going to have Perry, Cameron, Tattersall, Chittum, and Pullen on the floor. The Tigers have Crockrell, Bailey, Finstoon, Bell, and Jenkins. Inbound to Pullen, and Pullen will touch the ball right at half court. Pullen is dribbling to his left, gives to his left to Chittum. Chittum is going to try and drive it in. Chittum, a step back two from baseline left is good with 15 seconds to go. 63-57, Pacific by 6. Finstoon will look to get it in. He inbounds to Bailey, and Bailey's going to be fouled by Chittum. So 13.9 seconds remain on the clock. Bailey's free throw is up and good. So JB is one away from matching a career high point total. Again, 22 versus Pepperdine here on March 7th, 2019. Hope you didn't hear that. Second one is up and good. If he did, it didn't matter. 65-57, Pacific by 8. 10 seconds to go. Pullen is going to give it to Tattersall. He'll take a three. That is good. And Riverside just won't go away here. 6.6 seconds to go in regulation. Finstoon has to get it in. He gets it into Crockrell, and Crockrell is fouled. With 6 seconds to go. Crockrell 1 of 2 from the line just a little while ago. Pierre's first one is up and short. Second one is up, and that is going to bounce in. So it's 66-60. Inbound to Pullen. Tigers do not want to even make contact here. Pullen's going to shovel to Chittum. Chittum with 1 second to go. Chittum will not get a shot off. That will not count, and that is the ball game. Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. The Highlanders did not even get a shot off there. They took all the time. I thought they'd maybe try something from just past half court just to kind of see if they could get something to go and have a prayer here at the end, but they took way too much time. They didn't even get the shot off, so technically is not a shot attempt. The teams do not shake hands, and obviously by design the coaches kind of give each other waves, and the teams will go to the respective corners, their respective corners here of the Alex G. Spano Center. So the Pacific Tigers come up with a win here in the opener, kind of an ugly duckling of a second half for Pacific. The last 10 minutes was a real grind, but Pacific a 6-point win. Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. Hey, Jeff Dominic, we'll take a break here on the radio side and on the television side. If you're watching, we'll have Pacific Courtside Live. We'll talk with, I'd presume, Jeremiah Bailey and Damon Stoudemire if we can get those guys down here, and I think we'll be able to. So again, our final score, Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. Pacific Courtside Live is coming up next on Fox Sports AM 1280 and on the Stadium West Coast Conference Network.
When you walk throughout campus, like it's almost one of those campuses where everybody kind of smiles at each other. It's just welcoming. Everybody's so welcoming. I feel like I'm coming home.
One of the big strengths of Pacific is the small class sizes. I feel like I know all of my professors and that they know me.
I hear stories all the time from people at the big brand name schools and how they wish that there was more personal interaction.
I really like the environment that I felt at Pacific from like the first day at the Stockton campus. I just really felt like the professors actually knew who I was.
It's family to me, and I can hardly wait to get up in the morning and get in my car and come over here and then see my friends, my colleagues, the students. They become family to me.
The students know that we care, that they matter in the classroom, and we know each of them by name.
We realize that our first responsibility is to our students, and we have always taken that responsibility very seriously. So our first responsibility is teaching, our second responsibility is scholarship. It's not the other way around here.
Your purpose starts with a transformative moment, a glimmer of hope, a spark of curiosity, the sound of possibility. At University of the Pacific, we have a gift for finding those moments, and when we seize them, everything changes. Today we stand with you, the thousands of alumni, donors, and friends who are answering the call to transform the way we serve our students, faculty, patients, and communities. New leaders will rise, and new ideas will emerge because you stepped forward. The momentum of this campaign continues to build, and we hope you will continue to be a part of it, because you ensure the Pacific roar always rings out loud and clear, and together, leading with purpose. The future is
face
bright
covering, but
with possibility. Join us.
All day, every day, if it means that we can bring these games to you. So here we go. It's now we're back on the TV side. Great to have had you with us today, and a great win for the Tigers, 66-60. Pacific is now all-time 15-3 versus UC Riverside. This was kind of like the game we had here last year. It was a 7-point game. Pacific won ugly, 58-51. Riverside's a team, you know, before you get too down on how Pacific looked in the last 9 minutes of this game, you got to understand Riverside is a team that mucks it up. They're going to be big and physical, and they want to grind the tempo down. So Pacific kind of had to play that style game the last 9 minutes, and really it worked to Riverside's advantage. Riverside was trailing by 17 with 9:10 to go. They came back and made it interesting. The Tigers did really kind of keep them at arm's length. It was no more than a 5-point game down the stretch, no fewer, I guess I want to say, than a 5-point lead for Pacific. But the Tigers ended up grinding out a win here today, 66-60 over UC Riverside. I've not been given the final stats. I wonder if these are them. Oh, let me just slide over here and see. Yeah, hey, we got final stats. Let's get you these stats as we await the arrival of our post-game guest. It's going to be Jeremiah Bailey, our City of Stockton Human Resources hardworking player of the game, and also Damon Stoudemire will join us at some point as well, hopefully. Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. Let's run them down for you. Jeremiah Bailey, our player of the game, 22 points on 6 of 10 from the floor. He was 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, 7 of 8 from the line. Bailey had 3 boards as well. If you want to be nitpicky, he did turn the ball over 4 times, which was a lot. 4 of the 12 Pacific turnovers committed by Jeremiah Bailey. But look, you take that every time if he's going to give you 22, especially 6 of 10 from the floor, and he made every free throw except for 1 of the 8 that he attempted. And was talking with CP, Chris Pond, during practice a couple of days ago, and he brought it to my attention, and you could see it. But CP brought it to my attention that Bailey really has worked on his body. He's a different looking guy this year. He's slimmed down. I think it made him more agile in certain situations here today. He's always had the shooting touch, but he's been able to do a little bit more, I thought, just looking at him today, than what we've seen him able to do in the last couple of years. So Jeremiah Bailey, a great showing on opening day, 22 points on 6 of 10. 1 of 3 Tigers in double figures today. 13 points for Pierre Crockrell. How good was Pierre today? 5 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 4 from the line. It's still showing in the stats that Pierre made a 3, unless I completely missed something. Pierre, not really a guy that's going to launch it from beyond the arc, but I don't believe Pierre made a 3. But 13 points for Pierre on 5 of 9. Pierre had 2 assists, 1 turnover, and 10 points for Danis Jenkins. Jenkins did not have a great performance from the floor. 4 of 14 from the floor. He was 0 of 3 from the line. I'm sorry, 0 of 3 from beyond the arc, and he was 2 of 2 from the line. 5 points each for Brock Finstoon on 2 of 2. Finstoon strong with the basketball today, gave the Tigers really good minutes. 5 points for Jordan Bell on 2 of 4. Bell 1 of 3 from beyond the arc in his Pacific debut, the LMU transfer. And 5 points for Justin Moore. Moore on 2 of 2 from the floor. He was 1 of 2 from the line. 4 points for Nigel Shad in his Tiger debut. He was 2 of 4 from the floor. He was 0 of 4 from the line. Shad with 4 rebounds as well. He's going to give the Tigers a big body down low, and he can also step out and shoot it a little bit as well. 4 points from Shad. Sounds pedestrian, but I can tell you he had a great court presence here in his Pacific debut today. And 2 points for Jabril Price-Noel on 1 of 6. The Tigers from the floor in this game were 14 of 31, 45% from beyond the arc, 4 of 9, 44% from the free throw line, 6 of 13, 46%. Obviously something that's going to have to get better. Not going to judge anything long-term in this 40-minute sample, but obviously 46% from the line in a game that you won by 6. You probably should have won by double figures, and you'll hopefully see the Tigers get better from the line. In the second half, I'm sorry, those are the first half percentages. 14 of 31, 4 of 9 from 3, and 6 of 13. The second half, Pacific was 44% from the floor, 10 of 13, 1 of 4 from outside, 7 of 11 from the line. So for the game, beg your pardon, for the game, the Tigers 24 of 54, 44%. From beyond the arc, 5 of 13, 38.5%. From the line, 13 of 24, 54%. Still not great from the line. 46% in the first half, 54% for the game, and you'll probably see Pacific improve in that area as we go on. UC Riverside, tell you, they played a nice second half, and you could kind of see if you're watching from a Riverside perspective or from someone that watches from the Big West perspective, you can see what Riverside will be able to do, especially in the Big West this year. They're big. They have a guy in Tattersall that is a threat to knock down an outside shot. They have big guys that can shoot it. We saw Jock Perry attempt a couple of threes, and Perry on occasion will make them. He was 0-4 from that distance today. And Chittum, of course, Chittum kept him in the game for a time. But if Riverside is playing its style and they can kind of dictate the tempo and the style of the game, you'll see them have a lot of success in the Big West this year. Arinze Chittum led him with 14 points on 6 of 9 from the floor. He was 1 of 1 from beyond the arc and 1 of 4 from the line. 12 points for Will Tattersall. Tattersall on 3 of 8 from the floor. He was 2 of 6 from beyond the arc, and he was 4 of 4 from the line. I like Tattersall, true freshman from Australia. He's going to be able to do some things for him. And then 10 points for Jock Perry. The St. Mary's transfer had a nice showing in his Riverside debut. 10 points on 4 of 10. Perry was 0-4 from outside. I'm not sure how much they're going to let him attempt outside shots. Today he attempted quite a few, almost as many as anybody. Tattersall is the only guy that attempted more, but Perry was 0-4 from outside, 2 of 2 from the line, and Perry had 7 rebounds in this one for Riverside. So those are the 3 double-figure scores for the Highlanders. Down the line, 8 points for Flynn Cameron. Keep wanting to call him Cameron Flynn, but it's Flynn Cameron. It's the conundrum when you have a guy that has 2 first names. But Flynn Cameron, 8 points on 3 of 8 shooting. He was 2 of 4 from outside, 7 boards for Flynn Cameron, the DePaul transfer. 6 points for Zion Pullen on 2 of 5. Pullen was 2 of 2 from the line. Pullen had 3 assists, no turnovers, so he handled the ball well today for the Highlanders. 5 points for Dominic Pickett on 2 of 5. 3 points for Quinton Ford on 1 of 1. That was a 3-point play for Ford. And 2 points for George Wilborn III on 1 of 1. Wilborn was 0 of 2 from the free throw line. Wilborn also had 2 rebounds. It's worth repeating that Angus McWilliam was the only player to foul out of this game. McWilliam did not have a shot attempt for UC Riverside. He committed 5 fouls. He did have an assist as well as a turnover. Riverside in the first half, 10 of 24, 42% from the floor, 2 of 11 from outside, 5 of 7 from the line. They got much better in the second half with those percentages. 12 of 24 from the floor, 4 of 9 from beyond the arc, 5 of 8 from the free throw line. And for the game, Riverside, not bad, 22 of 48, 46% from the floor, 6 of 20 from beyond the arc, that's 30%, and 10 of 15 from the free throw line, 67% if you're rounding up. The Tigers outscored the Highlanders 38-27 in the first half. It was UC Riverside outscoring Pacific 33-28 in the second half. Turnovers, points off of turnovers, Pacific dominated that category, plus 10, 24-14. Points in the paint, Riverside kept it close with all that size, but the Tigers won that category. They were plus 6. Pacific 32 points in the paint, Riverside with 26. Riverside 9 second chance points, Pacific with 7. Tigers 8 points off the fast break, Riverside with 2. And the Riverside bench outscored the Pacific bench 17-12 in this one. There was 2 ties and 1 lead change. Riverside only led for 1 minute 8 seconds. That was when it was 3-2. The Tigers took it the rest of the way. Pacific led for over 36.5 minutes in this one. Riverside led by as many as 3. Their biggest scoring run was an 8-0 run, which was deep in the second half, which is the reason why this game ended so close. The Tigers' biggest lead, 17 points, and Pacific's biggest scoring run was a 9-point run that ended inside the first minute of the second half. Pacific really took some momentum into the locker room at the end of the first half and brought that momentum out the start of the second half. And again, we saw it fizzle as the game got deeper, and Riverside really took control inside the last 9 minutes. But all was said and done, Pacific comes away with a 66-60 win over a former Big West foe in UC Riverside. The last time the Highlanders beat the Tigers, by the way, was here in 2012. It was, I called the game, January 7th, 2012, 64-57. And again, overall, Pacific now 15-3 all-time against UC Riverside. Let's take a look at some scores from around the West Coast Conference as we await the arrival of our post-game guests, Jeremiah Bailey and Damon Stoudemire. This now one of 3 games that has gone final in the West Coast Conference. Memphis, a 73-56 win over St. Mary's at the tournament in South Dakota in Sioux Falls. And in Connecticut at Mohegan Sun, it was UMass Lowell defeating San Francisco 76-68. Those are the finals. With 7 minutes remaining in the first half, it's Pepperdine and UC Irvine on a neutral court. UC Irvine 26 and Pepperdine 23. That's going to be intriguing to see really how both teams do in that one. Irvine, of course, kind of the class of the Big West the last couple of years, and Pepperdine, a team that's been up and coming, especially for most pundits in the West Coast Conference the last 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see how Colby Ross and Pepperdine stack up against UC Irvine. Again, that's a 3-point game at the under-8 media timeout. And getting underway here momentarily, it will be Idaho State and Santa Clara. And Santa Clara, a heavy favorite in that one. Of course, the Tigers saw Idaho State last year, so kind of a familiar opponent. Speaking of opponents, the Tigers will host Fresno State here on Friday. A game that was originally scheduled to be a 7 p.m. start is now a 3 p.m. matinee. And again, that was done so that Fresno State can get in and out with the COVID spike here in the county. Didn't want to take any chances, and you can certainly understand they want to do the best they can to get as many of these games in as they can and maintain the integrity of what is already kind of an oddball season. But it's going to be a 3 p.m. start on Friday, and we'll have the pregame coverage beginning here at about 2:50 in the afternoon on Friday versus Fresno State. And then Pacific will play at Nevada on Monday, and that'll be a 7 p.m. start at Lawler Events Center in Reno. And still not sure if Pacific's going up the night before. It's a possibility. But again, it's all predicated on how COVID is going, and that's, I mean, that is like step 24 of the steps you have to take in order to get a game played, is figuring out if you're going to go somewhere overnight. First, you have to stay clean. You have to get players tested, keep them somewhat in a bubble, and then, the rest can sort itself out later. But literally a minute-by-minute basis. I've never been a part of anything like it where you wake up the day of a game and you don't know if you're going to have a game. But we were alerted about 2 hours before the tip to this game that all the Pacific tests on the men's basketball side have come back negative. So that was great. Continuing on with the schedule, on Wednesday of next week, so that'll be a week from today, the Tigers will host Montana State. That'll be another 2 p.m. matinee. And then a week from Friday, here versus Westmont College, another 2 p.m. matinee. And then at San Jose State on December the 6th, that'll be a 7 p.m. start in San Jose. Very regional, non-conference. On the 12th of December, Tigers host UC Davis. And then a Southern California road trip at Cal State Northridge on the 16th, at Cal State Fullerton on the 19th. The December 21st game, University of St. Catherine. University of St. Catherine. That's I have not heard of them, but they are in here on December the 21st. And again, this is all part of you can't knock any team you see on the schedule, no matter the level, because they're getting regional games, and it's not like Pacific didn't want to play anybody else. But you see University of St. Catherine followed by William Jessup. Those are just the circumstances. Those are just the circumstances. So. Look at them as basketball games that are being played, and these days that's just a win in and of itself. So St. Catherine on December 21st and William Jessup on December the 29th before league play starts on January the 2nd. I'm not going to go into league play right now because we got to get through a lot of non-conference games before then. But again, our final here today, Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and hopefully Jeremiah Bailey will be ready to go. Again, they are. I'm gonna point. If you're watching on the monitor, they're up, back and to my right, underneath the big American flag. Where if you're at the Spano Center, you'd watch the anthem. That's where they've curtained off an area that is serving as the Pacific locker room, and on the opposite side of the Spano Center, that's where Riverside is. Now you see it. That's a nice wide shot, thanks to Michael January and his crew. But underneath where it says Pacific Athletic Foundation, that's where the Tigers are right now. So the good news is I should be able to kind of get a better read as to when we're going to have guests coming out, because I can just kind of take a look up and see. But for now, we're going to take a quick break, maybe call it 2 minutes. We'll come back and hopefully have our City of Stockton Human Resources hardworking player of the game, Jeremiah Bailey, who had 22 today. And hopefully JB will be able to join us when we come back. Our final score, Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. Pacific Courtside Live continues after this.
Your purpose starts with a transformative moment. A glimmer of hope. A spark of curiosity. The sound of possibility. At University of the Pacific, we have a gift for finding those moments. And when we seize them, everything changes. Today, we stand with you. The thousands of alumni, donors, and friends who are answering the call to transform the way we serve our students, faculty, patients, and communities. New leaders will rise, and new ideas will emerge because you stepped forward. The momentum of this campaign continues to build, and we hope you will continue to be a part of it, because you ensure the Pacific roar always rings out loud and clear, and together, leading with purpose. The future is bright with possibility. Join us.
The nitty-gritty of what you saw here outside of what was a 66-60 final score, because I think, as we're back here on TV, hello, I think you know there's a lot to consider when you factor in what the score was and how it looked by game's end. Really, and we talked with Luke Wicks about this in the pregame interview. There are some teams in the country where they're playing in areas where the COVID restrictions weren't really that stringent, and they got to practice and kind of be out on the floor all together and kind of get in sync and get in rhythm. Pacific and any team really on the West Coast did not have that luxury. So you're talking about teams that are really, for the first time in game situations, which are, as you know, completely different than any other situation. You can't simulate them in practice. You're talking about teams kind of getting to know each other and get in rhythm for the first time. So if anything looked a little bit clunky today, for either team and any team really in the country going through this, I wouldn't read too much into it. As looks like JB is here. Yeah, you're good, man. Jeremiah Bailey, our City of Stockton Human Resources hardworking player of the game. JB, can you? There you go. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
There we go. Now we got you. Dude, congratulations, man. Way to come out and really make an impact in game one here in 2020. 66-60 Pacific wins. You tie a career high with 22 points. You seemed like you got in rhythm early in this one.
I got a great point guards, JM, Justin Moore, Pierre Crockwell, man, they set me up well. Even my teammates, Danis Jenkins, Jabril, guys set me up for just great open looks, and I got to knock them down.
What was it like getting ready for this opener? I mean, look, I like to come to practices for a month before we start a season just to kind of get to know what you guys do and the style of play. I mean, I saw 2 practices. Like, I didn't get to see you guys until a couple days ago. You didn't have as much practice time together as you normally would. Take us through what this thing was like for you guys getting ready to start a season.
First getting ready for this season, it was intense. We paid the price. The price is still being paid. Every day we're working for it and continuing to go on. But in the beginning, it's days in, days out. Another dollar, another day.
Yeah.
Really.
Was it tough to get in rhythm?
For sure. First things first, when we all got back on the court together, it was definitely out of whack, guys. It's been a minute. Quarantine did a number on guys, as you can see in the game. Conditioning is not the same. Guys are getting tired very, very fast. It's, got to get back to that basketball shape.
Speaking of basketball shape, man, how about you? You look like you got a different body coming into this year. Can you take us through what you went through and why you did what you did and what the transformation was?
Biggest thing from finishing last season, all the coaching staff needed me in the weight room. Change your body and they'll change your game. And I took that serious from the rip. Once quarantine started, I had a great setup, had a weight room, and, of course, running outside and getting that type of cardio to try to slim down and not pick up weight during the pandemic.
Did you feel like you were carrying less out there today? I mean, there were times where you had some agility, especially down low, where you hadn't had that in years past. Did you feel like that was an element of your game that you added because of how you changed your body?
For sure. During the pandemic, there's a lot of things you got to work on. That off-season grind is very different. So picking up those types of movements and being agile and being able to move quicker than usual is definitely something that was noticeable.
Take us through some of the new guys who you saw play today. I mean, I'm seeing some of these guys, for the first time too. I mean, Nigel looks like he's a good body out there. Jordan, of course. Jordan, you knew Jordan Bell from LMU.
Yep.
He's come over to the good side now.
Joined us.
Who impressed you of the new guys, and what kind of dynamic are they gonna bring to this team?
Oh, you seeing that's crazy. I can't single out nobody. We have great new guys. So we have Jordan Bell. He came in, had we have coaches have a saying, BNC. Jordan Bell came in there for the end of the game and did well for John Salazar. Man,
great energy, huh?
Man, brings it. Changes the whole game. You see him diving on the floor, getting extra rebounds. Gervais Green came in and supported the game very well. Was good pace. And it's crazy to see. We really have a great, new guys. Like you said, Nigel. He just impacts the paint. Like, you don't see a lot of guys trying to drive in and go at him. He's a big body. That's that Big 12, conference. You know, that's big.
Yeah.
So that definitely shows a difference right there. And, of course, you know, these new guys are definitely changing the dynamic of our team, and it's benefiting us a lot.
JB, take us through the last 9. What was it? Let's see, 9. I don't have the timestamp here, but you guys, like 9 minutes and 10 seconds, you guys led by 17 with 9:10 left to go. You scored, I mean, I think it was 13 points in the last 9 minutes, and it kind of got ugly there at the end. Yet you guys were still able to finish. Can you take me through those last 9 minutes and the grind that it was? One thing Coach says is offense won't translate all the time, but defense will. And I think we took that very serious. I think as a team we take that very serious. You know, sometimes the shots are just not going to fall. But you can't rely on defense. You can't carry that in your back pocket at all times. So, you know, that's one thing we had to lean on. We had to lean on our defense and make sure we had that at all times. What's going to be the identity of this team, you think? You know, you go back to last year, and it was Jaleel Tripp, you know, just kind of taking the ball at the end and kind of making things happen. What's the dynamic of this team and the look of it? I think this year it's a TTG, through the grind. We got to get it out the grind, no matter what. We had to grind this game out today, and I think it's gonna be like that a lot through the season. We just got to grind it out. Obviously, some games will look better than others, but definitely through the grind, we'll find it out. TTG, I like that. I love little acronyms like that. Do you have any goals this coming into this season? I want to be a winner. I want to have another winning season. It felt good last season to be a winner, and I want to definitely show these guys on this team a winning season. Tell you what, if you hang 22 on most nights, I think this team has a pretty good chance of being a winner. JB, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Our City of Stockton Human Resources hardworking player of the game. Have a great year, man. It's great to see you.
Appreciate you.
Jeremiah Bailey, again, our City of Stockton Human Resources hardworking player of the game. 22 points, 6 of 10, 3 of 6 from outside, 7 of 8 from the line. And great to see JB having success, and we'll talk with his head coach hopefully about it. Damon Stoudemire is going to join us here shortly, I guess. There's they've broken their meeting up there, so hopefully that means Coach Stoudemire is going to be joining us here in the not too distant future. Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. We have one last break to take, so why don't we take it? We'll come back, and hopefully Coach Stoudemire will be joining us next. Again, our final score, Pacific 66, UC Riverside 60. And we're back with more Pacific Courtside Live and Stoudemire next on Fox Sports AM 1280.